106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. It is Gabe. It's Double Impact. I don't have any of my lights on. Let me turn my dang lights on. Oh, it's going to be a good one tonight. It's going to be The Lost Boys. I've never, ever seen this movie, and I saw it last night, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Let me make this full screen here. Welcome in, Mark's Music Obsession. Katie in Florida. Hope you're okay with all that horrible weather. Vinzinger, a.k.a. El Otaku, a.k.a. The Weed Pillar. Dude, you got to pick a name. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. That's too many names. That's too many names. But guys, yeah, we're back to nights. I was trying it during the day. I thought there'd be more viewers. There were less during the day. And I hate it during the day. I hate doing the show during the day. I'm sorry. I did it for 3 weeks. And it didn't feel right. Movies are a nighttime thing, man. You work all day. You come home. You plop on the couch and you're watching a movie. So I feel like movies are a nighttime thing. Jericho's running late. His son has football practice until 7. So his son wrapped up a minute ago. So Jericho will be in soon. We might have a special guest tonight. Don't know. Let me text him again. Just got going. You coming in? I'll text him. He's a good friend of the show. You've seen him before. You love him. So I need to go grab a drink behind me. But let me intro the show here. Tell you guys what's been going on. We got a lot of great stuff going on. I had a great weekend. My good friend and yours, the great Tyrus, he came to town like Santa Claus coming to town. He came to town and he did his stand-up show. He tours the country doing stand-up. He's brilliant. And I went and Matthew, I just spoiled it. Matthew Marsden. He's picking up a family member right now. Maybe he won't go in. Okay. Let me text him after. I'll put a little pressure on him. Say, after you coming in, and we'll see. But if we get Tyrus, we'll get Tyrus on here sooner or later. No, I'm talking to Matthew Marsden, Black Hawk Down, Rambo, Resident Evil, Transformers, all that good stuff. Oh, could you get me a Topo Chico, dear? I have a beautiful assistant. Don't tell my wife. No, it is my wife, and no, I got the opener. Don't worry, baby. Thank you. See, guys, that's why you should get married, so someone can hand you a drink. There you go. Today's show is brought to you by Topo Chico. We'll see. To my friend Matthew for coming because we're talking this afternoon about some stuff. We'll be on for quite a while more. at least 2 more hours. So Matthew's welcome in. I sent him the link, so he'll come in or he won't. I don't know. He's got a lot of kids, that guy. He's a busy guy. But I want to tell you. So Tyrus, the great Tyrus, Fox News, as we know. By the way, for those of you paying attention to the American presidential election that is going to happen in 20 days, Donald Trump's going to win in a landslide. You got to see the clips after this show. Stay here, hit the like and the share. Stay tuned. You got to see the Kamala Harris interview she did today on Fox News. You will not be able to believe it. I don't think she's fit to wash your car, let alone be the leader of anything. Holy crap. She's terrible. Let's see. You could probably get Corey Feldman on the show. Wow, that'd be fascinating. You know what? I'm going to look into that. I will look into that. Think about what you think about. Feels bad for both Corey. Yeah, I've heard some rough stuff for those guys. Seems pretty bad. Seems like it'd be pretty rough being a youngster in Hollywood. Apex Comics says, I can imagine Lost Boys comic book. Well, Apex Comics. And I promise Apex Comics that we did not talk, me and you, before the show. We did not set this up. But Apex, you don't have to imagine a Lost Boys comic book, because your friend, that'd be me, Gabe I actually made a Lost Boys comic. Did you know that? Back in 2008. Let me show you. Hold on. Look, I'll show you. I never saw the movie, but I worked on the Lost Boys comic book at the end of 2008. We produced it at DC Comics over at the Wildstorm studio. So here are some pages from it right here. Okay, these are pages from the Lost Boys comic book with the Frog Brothers, with Grandpa, with all the bad guys. Yep, this is it right here. This is it right here. So you don't have to imagine it. See, there's Kiefer Sutherland, the vampire at the bottom. This is a real comic book that I worked on. Sorry, there's a bright light shining right in my eyes, so it's a little hard to see what I'm clicking over here to show you this stuff. But absolutely, yeah, I worked on this. This is my color work here. Yeah, I worked on a 5-issue miniseries of a Lost Boys comic book. So yeah, you don't have to imagine it. It was cool. Let's see, Brett Baier interview. Yeah, terrible. But Gabe, Kamala has Jimmy Carter on her side. Well, as nice of a guy as he is, charitable, Habitat for Humanity, and all that, he was an awful president. So makes sense. Yeah. Let's see. If you're going to make Matthew Marsden comics, will Matthew's profession be in his comic? I actually talked to Matthew about a comic book with him, and I have a very, very cool idea that he loves. We'll see. Didn't they do a remake of The Lost Boys? I hope to God they haven't or don't. Leave it alone. It's a classic movie. Never seen it before, and I loved it. I watched it last night, and it was great. It was great. It was an awesome movie. So let's see. Was Vampires Everywhere actually released? No, that was a comic made for the movie Vampires Everywhere. Apex Comics says, congratulations, Gabe. Well, thank you. Oh, we didn't see the image you were trying to show us. Golly, dude. I opened it. I opened it on my computer, and I didn't bring it up on the screen. Goodness gracious me. Let me reopen that stuff, and I'll show you. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. I forgot to hit share screen when I did that. I was all excited. Just let's see. Share screen. You got to share my extra screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, so here are some pages from issue 1 of the Lost Boys comic from 2008 when I worked at DC Comics. Back when I used to work there, before they were crazy ass woke people. But yeah, here's some of the Lost. This was illustrated, the black and white, by Joel Gomez and colored by me. But it stars the fabulous Frog Brothers, and it was a pretty cool comic. Takes place in the same area, that Santa Clara thing and all that. And you got the comic book store and all that stuff. But yeah, we have Kiefer Sutherland. Doesn't he play David? Right? Frog Brothers with their katanas and their weapons and all that, and the glowing eyeballs, and it was a lot of fun to work on this. I really, really enjoyed my time working on this. And to congratulate me for this assignment, my wife bought me The Lost Boys on DVD. And I never watched it. She bought me that DVD in 2008, and I didn't watch it until last night. I just never got around to it. It got put away, and it's just not something I thought of much. But I absolutely loved it last night. I thought it was a fantastic movie. It was really good. Were you just colors of DC, or did you do it all? The thing about working at those places, they try to keep you in your lane. I did do writing for them and illustration a tiny bit, but it's like you have to ask and ask and ask, and the answer is no. And if you look at pretty much everyone else that works at Marvel and DC and those places, it's very rare for them to like realize that you can do more and let you do it. And I think that's like a convenience thing for them. It's like, no, you do this, you do this, you do this, and they just keep it all organized. But I'm an award-winning writer. I'm a great illustrator. Now that I do for my own company, I do it all. But they really kept me in my lane. It's just coloring, and I thank God for it. That was the job that was open when I applied. So whatever, I took the job I could get. But it wasn't in my heart to be a colorist. That's not what I was aiming for. I wanted to be an illustrator. But when I applied for the job at Wildstorm, that's all they had was an open coloring job. Because rest in peace, a man named Johnny Wrench, who had worked there, he moved on and moved away from San Diego and went freelance. And so they needed to replace him. So that was the opening they had at Jim Lee's studio. So let's see. Okay, nice and good work. You should consider making a big man comics, vampire comics. We'll do everything. I just want to have responsible growth. You see companies that have success and then they expand too much. Remember, like Krispy Kreme opened way too many Krispy Kremes and Rite Aid opened way too many. Then they have to pull back and close it. I'm doing very well, but it's like I'm picking and choosing what I do and picking the people I hire. I've hired about 3 different people, and we're making the comics. We're going to crowdfund them soon. But we want to get as much done up front as we can, and then crowdfund it. That way we can deliver quickly and deliver good stuff. Because I think the biggest problem in crowdfunding, maybe one of the biggest, is the late books. There are books in crowdfunding that are years late, and that's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's completely unprofessional. That's unprofessional behavior. And I don't do things like that. And I don't think backers, you guys, with your hard-earned money in this economy, in Bidenomics, you give me money and trust me to make something, I have to deliver. It's insane to me that people take years to do books and they're just like, yeah, and they don't seem to feel bad. And the backers are like, give me a refund. Where the hell's the book? And they don't even get their refund right away or ever sometimes. And it's just like, I've never understood why you would mistreat customers like that. Like the only reason the company exists is because you have customers. Like that's it. And I think that some businesses, and not just artists, like any business, it could be any business, you name it, they're like very top down, very haughty, very, very snobbish. Like, you're lucky to be my customer. And to me, I was always taught the other way. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandparents had their own restaurant and bakery. My uncle's a lawyer. My dad was basically a freelance gourmet chef, although he worked at country clubs, but then he did a lot of catering. And I just learned from the men around me growing up, like the customer's king. The customer's always right. You don't do nonsense to your customers. That's crazy. So let me look at the chat here real quick. So it's kind of an assembly line process. Yeah, they really wanted you to stay in your lane. But what's funny, I bothered them to write for years. And then in 2020 or 2021, they started basically a DEI, in my opinion, a bigoted program called, it's not Represent. Marvel has the exact same program called Represent. DC has another one. Or maybe DC's is Represent and Marvel's is like Marvel Voices. I don't know. But basically, without saying it, what they ask is, hey, if you're not white, will you please write us comics about your personal life experience about how awful white people are? So I saw that and said, here, they're finally going to let me write. I'm a Mexican Libyan. So I write to them and say, hey, I bet you never had someone of my background, unique perspective, write about their experiences with maybe racism growing up. So I wrote a book called American Mongrel. And it was about me in middle school in the 1992 or whatever, the first Gulf War, and about being picked on. I was a huge guy. I wasn't bullied ever because I was as big as a damn linebacker since I was like 10. But, told shit about being Arab during the Gulf War, get in a fight, beat the crap out of some kid because how big I am, and then get in trouble and then talk to my grandpa about it. But here's how I tricked them. Instead of going with their left-wing, the white man's a devil message, my grandpa flips it. And in real life, this is how I was raised. Race doesn't matter. It only matters what we do. And you do have a home, Gabe. You do have an identity. It's your heritage, your customs, your religion, your culture. And as long as you embrace those and you keep the fire alive that your ancestors planted for you for millennia, you do have a place you belong and you do have an identity. And that was my story. So in their racist left-wing program to hire me to write against white people, I actually wrote against identity politics. And the editor, Bobby Chase, was crying. She told me it was so good and so heartwarming. And they offered me a 1.5-year first look deal to make it into a TV or a movie. Now, it didn't get turned into a TV or movie, but it's very rare to get those deals. So I would say I'm a pretty damn good writer that I wrote a 10-page story that got like a TV deal kind of contract. It's called The First Look. So that gives DC Comics and Warner Brothers 18 months to make it a TV show or a movie. And if they don't do it in a year and a half, then I can sell it anywhere. So now I own it fully, American Mongrel. But for 18 months, I had to let, if I got a deal anywhere else, Sony or Disney or whatever, to make this a show or a movie, I couldn't do it. I had to ask Warner Brothers first. So I'm a great writer. I'm not trying to brag. I've known how to read since I was 3. My mom was a school teacher. Writing is, I will say this, as good as an artist I am, I think I'm actually a better writer. And those of you that have read Truth, Justice, and Dean Cain and all that, you see that, yes, the man knows how to write. So yes, they tried to keep me in my lane at DC Comics, but when they finally let me write, I tricked them into letting me write with their racist DEI program, they were blown away. And it's amazing that I wrote a conservative message and they were still blown away. And I inked a Superman story for a Christmas special. I redrew some stuff for an Eisner-winning book. David Finch didn't draw some details on some stuff in a Batman book, so I redrew that. And when there were mistakes in the art in many books, I would redraw stuff because they knew I could draw. But I would ask them to draw stuff. It's like, you're a colorist. So it's very frustrating. But when you're in that position, you take what you can get, and it's you got to realize I need self-respect. So you eventually have to get away from situations like that. Let me check the chat here real quick. I want to ask what the pros and cons of Tyrus's healing factor and super strength be. Oh, no, I'm not spoiling that. You're going to love it. In fact, I'll do a little spoiler for you, though. I just finished this on Monday. I draw some things digitally when I'm pressed for time, but I like to hand ink. So here's a alternate cover for the Tyrus comic that I did. How great is that? Now, the tattoos, I put those in post, as they say. What I did is, I'll show you what I did to do his tattoos. I'll show you. So I went online, I looked for tons of photos, but I also bought a Tyrus action figure and took pictures at it from all kinds of angles because they have really accurate tattoos on him, on this little figure. And then I'll open it in Photoshop to show you what I made. You're going to love this. I took photos of all that and then made it all in Photoshop, flat. Hold on, let me open it. It's a document called Tyrus Tattoos or whatever. Let me find out. Tyrus Tats PSD. That's a Photoshop document. So this thing here, let me open the screen. This thing here is Tyrus's tattoos. And they're all on separate layers in Photoshop, right? Chest, arm inside, arm outside, left arm, right arm. And I drag those over to the Tyrus comic book and superimpose them because since we're doing black and white artwork, it would be a mess to try and do all this rendering of the muscles and the tendons and all the stuff and then draw big old tattoos on top of it. You'd obscure what you were doing. So let me show you this real quick. I'll open the Tyrus cover because everyone's already seen the other cover. Let me see. Open recent. Open that cover file. Tyrus cover A, PSD. I'll get the layered version of the cover here. And I'll show you how I did that. So here's the cover. This is the main cover that when we sell the book. Bring it on the screen, Gabe. Jeez. Here's the main cover of the book, right? So those tattoos, let me hide those blue guidelines. View, show extras, show none. Okay, move those. So here's how this works. So you see he has those tats, but really they're just in a layer and they're halfway transparent. And that way I have this clean line art drawing of Tyrus like that. And when I'm drawing all the musculature and all that, it doesn't get in the way and break up the shapes. Because obviously in real life, you don't have any black lines on you denoting where your bicep or your tricep or your rhomboid is. But in a drawing, you do have black lines. So what we do is we have the tattoo in there as another layer, halfway transparent. That's what works best for me. So yeah, this is the cover for the first issue of Tyrus. I'm going to start drawing this in November, I believe. So yeah, this is going to be a really fun thing. But we hung out on Saturday night, Tyrus and I, a little bit at his show. He's a brilliant stand-up comedian. You should go see it when he comes to your town. He tours the country nonstop. He's so funny and very excited about it. And like I said, this other cover here, this is the alternate cover. And I'm going to color that up tomorrow. I want to do a really close, intense one where he's going crazy, big, crazy eyes and all that. So, and obviously the logo and all that goes up here. So I'm very excited about this. I think it's going to be awesome. So let me see. Let's see. Michael Coulter says, I really hope that someday soon, Gabe, you'll be able to do Brick and Mortar Man because I'm hurting for a good comic and I don't have the funds for anything along that. Yeah, sorry about that, man. I know that these indie comics that we mail out there, they're a higher price point, but they're higher quality. You know what I mean? It's a personal touch. This is like, I hate to say it this way, it sounds like a farmer's market. It's artisan comics, right? You have an artist with a singular vision. He's handcrafting everything. when I make these books, I do all of it. There are some books I hire a guy to draw it or whatever, like Acheon with Dean Cain and Empyrean. But when you see a book like Tyrus, that's basically going to be me. Pencil, ink, color, letter, design it, work with the printer, pack it and ship it by hand myself. Like, so it's artisan stuff. So I do believe the value is there. And Dean and I have a very special announcement coming soon for you guys. A very special announcement. Something exciting for the holidays, because we haven't had anything really on sale for a while new. And I wanted to do something special for the holidays. So there'll be more news on that. More news on that. Any chance Minnie will do stand-up with Tyrus? Yeah, I wanted to talk to him about that. Say, because he does have an opener, Tyrus. His wife used to open for him a lot. And then he had a guy opening for him. The guy was brilliant. He was a singer and like stand-up guy. And, I'll talk to Tyrus. Hey, could my daughter do 5 or 10 minutes for you before your show? So she's great. Martin, what is your favorite comic book of all time? Planetary, from Warren Ellis. John Cassidy, rest in peace. He just passed away. Colored by Laura Martin. And it was published by Wildstorm from the late 90s into the early mid-2000s. Planetary is like X-Files meets Twilight Zone meets complete sci-fi. Really fun, gorgeous book. Crazy idea. Every issue had a really weird, crazy idea. So let's see. Are you ever making animated features to TV series? Yeah, my plan is Walt Disney. That's who I want to be. So I want all of it. I want the comics, I want the animation, the video games, the movies, the streaming shows, the theme park, the fruit roll-ups, the cereal. Yes, I understand that there is a void in our culture for uplifting, positive, family-oriented entertainment that isn't milquetoast and boring and crap, and that it needs to be as awesome and intense as Indiana Jones from the 80s, the good stuff, and Lethal Weapon and all that. But it needs to be uplifting and have morals. We don't hit you over the head. It's not a Bible study. We're not going to bang you over the head and say that dancing is evil. Getting your ears pierced is immoral. We're not going to do that. But we want to make stuff that makes you feel good, that makes you understand life, that makes you feel inspired and all that. And I think, I've got it here. So, and, Tyrus was very excited. He brought up the book to he'd never met my wife before. So I introduced them and he said, I got quite a project coming with your husband. So he's excited. I told him, we'll talk after the election, more detail on this, because I said to him, you're probably a little busy right now. This is like the craziest election ever. And he's like, yeah, we'll talk November 6th. So, we've talked off and on. We've worked out plot. I'm going to rewrite the script again. I go through many iterations of the script before I finally start drawing. And then even when you draw it, you change what's in the script. And then when you letter it, you do the word balloons, you actually can change things there too. So the story's always being refined like a diamond. It's ugly and rough when you find it in the ground, but you keep cutting it, you keep polishing it all the way up to the day you send it to the printer. That's how I like to work on this stuff. So let's see. I don't own very many comics, just Dean Cain and one about Ed Gein. Ooh, Ed Gein, the horrible murderer. The horror one, you hope I succeed. Well, wish granted, I've already succeeded plenty. So you don't have to hope anymore. So let's see. So Gabe, that means that's basically like Bond, factory direct without the middleman being the comic stores. Am I right? Yeah, right now this is the way I like to do it, because to me, I think art is best. You don't want too many cooks in the kitchen. And that's the problem with the big companies, the movies, the TV show. There are, 10, 20, 30 people deciding one story, one TV show, one movie. Hundreds of people can be involved. And you don't need that many people to write a story. If you hire a writer who can write, or you are a writer who can write, you don't need 10 people writing the story. You just don't need it. I can write a 120-page comic book in a week. I can do that. The 120-page comic, I write the plot in one day. And then I write the pages. That takes, 2, 3, 4 days maybe. So in a 5-day work week, I can write a 120-page comic book. I've done it before. It's not that hard for me. So, I think too many cooks in the kitchen is what spoils the broth. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
The Midnight Lover himself, Jericho Green, fresh from the Kamala Harris debacle. Did you see any of that, or was football practice?
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing on the way on my drive. It was like if you had a train wreck and then you put it on top of another train wreck. So like 4 trains wrecking at the same time.
It were 4 trains, and all the trains were carrying trucks for cars filled with manure.
Yes, that was on fire.
Right. Well, 2 of the trains were manure. Sorry, I made a mistake. 2 of the trains were manure. One of the trains was very flammable liquid, and then another train was like flint and things that start fires. So shit everywhere, gasoline on it, and then fire.
Yeah, because it came from there's train tracks that run through the fire factory. So that's why they uploaded. They got the train, the flame train. If I think this is the technical term, they got the flame train, and then that hits the poop train and the gas train, and then you take that all the wreckage. Help me! You scoop all that wreckage up, and then you put it inside of a dirty diaper, and then set that on fire, and then you're starting to get close to what that interview was. It was. If somebody told you, Gabe, write a horrible interview, you couldn't do it. No, I mean, I know you can write. You're a great writer, but you couldn't write anything worse than that.
If I wrote that interview and showed it to you, you'd say, Gabe, rewrite this. Nobody will believe this.
Nobody's gonna believe that she is that bad. Nobody. Well, guess what?
Yeah. So we're back to nights, baby. I don't know about you, but the daytime felt so wrong to me. A show about movies at 1 p.m, that just didn't work for me at all. It was so weird for me. So
didn't feel right.
Jericho, can you do a voice of Mickey Mouse and he's meeting Puff Daddy?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hi there, Mr. Puff. Am I early for the party?
I think I'm gonna have to put I'm gonna throw a curveball in there.
Okay.
Hi guys. I'm here at the party. Thanks, Puffy. Thanks for welcoming me. I heard that you have 1,000 bottles of lubricant in your bathroom. Well, I travel with 2,000. You thought you were gonna fuck me, huh, Puffy? I'm Mickey Mouse. Bend over.
I heard that's what actually happened.
Dude, he thought Mickey was nice and the happiest place on earth, but Mickey came in there with his dick swinging, and Puffy was the one. Where you going, Puff? Come back.
Puffy was never the same.
He certainly never walked the same, for being honest.
I never liked Puff Daddy, and I never saw the appeal. I've
never been a fan of his either. I really have always thought there's something shady about him.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I don't like rap music or hip hop. As a Hispanic, as a Latino, I always found it problematic because I could just not see past, hey, they're glorifying violence and gang culture. And that's what holds Mexicans back. Why are we glorifying this? This is terrible advice. Like that just it was the way I was raised. I had a very strict mother. You don't consume, I hate Deadpool. You don't consume trash media is how I was raised. So I listen to rap music and some of it's funny and outrageous, but I couldn't get past this is the worst thing that poor people in the ghetto could listen to. It's giving if you wanted to give advice, this is the exact opposite life they should lead. So I find it, I hate to say this guy, I'm not a leftist. I find it very racist, rap music. It's very racist against black people.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And you were raised the same way, remember? And your mom caught you listening to rap once, and she threw it in the fireplace and burned it.
She sure did. She took all my, and this is back when CDs were like $18,
right?
And there was like 5 or 6 of them. She grabbed all of them and threw them in the fireplace. Well, it wasn't even approaching being condoned in our house. Rap music was bad, and I better not catch you listening to it. But my brother and I, we still listen to it.
Well, because when you're young, it's cool to be rebellious and this and that. But just raised like you with a mother who said, we're not doing this. I listen to rap and I'm just like, this is awful. Just drugs and bitches and drive-bys. I'm like, I don't want to live like this. It sounds very dangerous.
Yeah, it was always a form of entertainment for us. Or for me, kind of a way to look in on that lifestyle, but never did I take it seriously or try to implement it in my life or anything like that. I was just like, wow.
But look how many people do. Look how many people do, right?
And that's terrible. And they're missing something, because I always saw rap as just something that I could peek in on. Never anything that I would ever, I'm not going to talk like that. I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm not going to start selling dope or gangbanging. But it's always like, whoa, that shit's crazy. But no, never. If I ever even talk like that, dropping M-bombs or sagging my pants or anything, wow, it'd be the beating of a lifetime. My parents would kill me. So
you mean
for that reason, for my parents feeling that, being that way about it, I always kept it at arm's reach. It was always something that I would never partake in. never. Oh my God, my mom caught me sagging my pants. Oh boy.
Right.
Oh boy.
So what's anything new with you? Anything you wanna confess?
I don't think YouTube will allow me to say my confessions, but my son's football season is wrapping up. They have a chance, if they win their next game, they have a chance to play in the championship. So that's cool. Still got the house on the market, still trying to sell the house. That's pretty major.
Okay.
And yeah, I changed some things, implemented some pretty big changes in my channel.
Okay,
so
what'd you change? I don't know. I'm not hip to that.
I taught myself how to do thumbnails. How about that? I subscribed to the Canva. I'm sure you know what that is.
Yeah, it's free Photoshop.
Yeah, so I'm doing my thumbnails differently and editing the videos differently. I got a little intro, so big shit going on, people.
Right. Well, you know, it's annoying when people give unsolicited advice, so please take this in the spirit that is intended. I am, as you know, a professional artist and designer. My degree is in graphic design, and your background is not in visual art, but I'll give you, once you hear this, you're never going to be able to forget it, and it'll help you with your thumbnails. Cool. The McDonald's logo. How far away can you see that thing? Say you're driving through the desert. Like the Golden Arches. You see that, what, 2 miles away, right?
As far as the eye can see.
It's simple, big shapes. That's how you design. You know, there's lots more to know about art, but that's what you do. Like here's my thumbnail for tomorrow. I shrink that down. You can still read it for quite a while, and you can just see Superman. One person, fade out the background so we don't have that DC Comics logo competing, and then high contrast. So the letters are bright white, and then the red color behind them is a pretty dark red. It's like the McDonald's logo. Simple, big shapes. That's the advice I'll give you on making thumbs. You need help, you just hit me up again. I helped you with plenty of thumbs, so just hit me up. So, but yeah.
Sure.
Here's how the creator of Earthworm Jim, he's a good friend of mine. You played that game, right?
I'm familiar. Yeah, for sure.
Hit video game in the 90s. He said to me, when it comes to drawing comics, he's all, let the big shape win. There you go. Let the big shape win, you know, when you're doing a design. So.
Well, thank you. I'll definitely implement that because I'm trying to win the thumbnail war.
All right. I want to ask Gabe if he heard of a Latino superhero film called El Chicano. El Chicano.
Oh, man. I remember that. That came out like a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, is this with that horrible George Lopez?
Oh, dude, it fucking sucks.
Yeah. Anything with George Lopez, I'm not getting involved in because he is
big. I watched that shit one time. I was like, what the fuck? It is awful, dude. It's right there. It's right up there with Black Adam. Was The Rock.
Yeah, Chicano.
I mean, that shit is just
this looks terrible.
Dude. It is awful.
I don't know what this racial identity stuff is all about, but I can't wait for Trump to get reelected and just culturally start to kill this DEI racial identity. It's got to go away.
Just poison the root of that tree.
Right.
It is so bad.
Chicano.
It is terrible.
Hey, man.
I can't remember the character he plays. It doesn't matter because it was shit. But just the whole concept of the movie, and it was just dog shit from beginning.
Yeah, he's like
it's
a superhero, pero he's Chicano.
I know. And what was the budget on that? Tens of millions of dollars?
Hey, it was less than the Raiders are paying for the quarterback.
Dude, it is. Like if somebody gave you $10 million and said, Gabe, in a year, I want your best work, I think you would deliver. But hundreds? In some of these cases, $100 million, $200 million. And they serve up a steaming pile. I don't get it.
Did I show you my picture from Saturday night? Oh, because I put it on my desktop, but I didn't know if I showed it to you. But I was telling the crowd, it was good times. One big man meeting another big man.
Oh, cool.
But no, I've been to his stand-up shows 3 times now. And Awesome guy. We talked a little bit about the comic. There's some great things coming there. He is hilarious. When he comes to your town, you need to go see him. He's great.
Yeah, if he ever comes up around this way, I sure will.
Yeah, he's a natural. He's very funny. So he told a great story about a fertility clinic that had me just crying laughing.
Like fertility.
So, and it's weird for a guy like me. It is weird for a guy like me who is, thank you. For a guy like me who's always the tallest guy everywhere I go, to meet someone who's a few inches taller than me. That's a weird experience when you're this tall. So
it's like a weight off your shoulders.
But I got this. I got a Tyrus style chain, so I'm wearing that now. So
nice.
Let's see.
Caribbean someday.
Caribbean hideout. What's up, guys? Let's see.
What?
Vinziger, aka El Otaku, aka the Weed Pillar. I've seen it. I think he's talking about El Chicano, and I enjoyed it. But I understand your issue with George Lopez. Real disgrace. Same goes for John Leguizamo. Johnny Legs is a real disgrace too.
Oh, yeah, John Leguizamo is such a bitch.
I don't like all that La Raza. We hate the white man. I'm not down. I wasn't raised that way. Again, remember I told you guys the first job I got writing at DC Comics that got me the 18-month first look deal to make a TV show or a movie off of 10 pages written. It's pretty impressive, guys, if I do say so myself. The first thing I wrote was my grandpa telling me that racial Chicano power bullshit isn't real and to not be racist against white people or anyone. Those are my values. So George Lopez, John Leguizamo, these constant grievance Chicanos where they're just the racist. Grow up, because last time I checked, you're a movie star in America, the racist country you hate. America gave you that success, George Lopez. America gave you that success, John Leguizamo. I didn't see your La Raza country giving you that. I don't see that happening. So zip it, you know.
And I don't see you handing back any of that racist American money.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't see you doing. I don't see any refunds. I don't see any refusal of payment because you don't want to take that filthy racist American money. Right. And what I can't stand, I just saw John Leguizamo doing this. I can't stand the. There's only this percentage of black people doing this, and there's only this percent of black directors and black doctors. Look, if you want to see more black people doing shit, then they're going to have to go into those fields of those professions. They're going to have to start being doctors. They're going to have to start doing whatever. You can't inorganically force people into these positions. If they want to be there, they'll be there. If they don't, then they don't. How about stop killing over 300,000 black babies a year through abortion, and maybe some of them will grow up and they'll become these things that you want to see.
How many brilliant world society changing black men and women have been killed by abortion? That in a Schrodinger's cat thought experiment way, they would have gone on to cure whatever disease or invent a new policy that changed lives. How many of them were just chopped, vacuumed, and incinerated at the abortion clinic for health care?
Yeah.
A lot of healthcare chopping people up and burning them.
That's healthcare. It's access.
Like healthcare to me.
Access to healthcare. Yeah, it can't be health care. Look at those two words, two positive words, health and care. And somebody dies during that. That's not healthcare. Somebody dies. That's not good care, and that's damn sure not good health. But what do you know? What do we know?
Vinzinger says, granted, I made stuff that are inspired by El Chicano, but I won't do the race obsession mamadas. Here's my whole thing on it. I live 20 miles from Tijuana. I have my passport. I got my Century Pass. I love going to Tijuana, see the culture, get some of the best tacos in the universe, and then come home. And, I do have Mexican heritage, less than half. My Mexican side is also Native American and Spanish and Syrian Jew. I guess Syrian Jews went to Mexico and all that, but it's Mexican. My grandma and grandpa are Mexican, but they're mixed, but they're still Mexican. And I love the culture, the music, the food, all that. But it's like, don't be here and say this place sucks. Okay, don't, or get out.
Yeah, bounce.
Get the hell out of here. Seriously,
you can go. It's not like you're trapped here and there's a deadbolt on the door. Go.
How many places?
Get out there.
How many places, Jericho, that you hate do you just go to and stay there?
Well, like most people, I avoid things that I hate.
Right.
If it can be avoided, I will avoid it because I hate it.
All right.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty simple.
Yeah. Martin had asked earlier, I didn't know if he saw my answer because I just wrote in the chat, how tall am I? I am 6'4". 6'4", and Tyrus is
Says how?
6'7", 6'8" when he stands up. But he had just finished 2 hours on stage, so he was
Big
sitting
old boy.
because he was doing a big old meet and greet. So yeah, no, he's my boy. He's an awesome dude. Anyway, he's the thing I like about him. My famous friends that come on this show, Matthew, Marsden, and Dean and Tyrus. The thing I like about all three is when I've met them in real life and it was just us talking, there wasn't a difference. It's like the guy I saw on YouTube or whatever, it's the same guy in real life, which, having worked for the Hollywood companies for years, that's refreshing that it wasn't some act, you know. It was like, oh, they're actually a thoughtful, kind person that has their head on straight. They're not a crazy person. So that's, I think, one of the thing that I like most about my friends, why I have a very small circle of friends, those guys in Jericho, is their fathers and husbands. That's the most important thing to me. I'm not a perfect husband, not a perfect father, but of my most important part of my values is that's the most important thing to me. So, you know, is being a husband and father. That's like, that is my purpose, you know. So
that's why we're here.
I wanted to show you something. I have a great video coming out tomorrow, but I wanted to give people a little preview because this made me laugh. Because again, I think visual persuasion is the strongest kind of persuasion. And my video tomorrow, and we'll get to the Lost Boys because I love this movie. I was not expecting to love it. I was expecting to just like it. We'll get to the Lost Boys in a minute here. But my video tomorrow is how I would fix DC Comics. You know, because I worked there forever, and I'm a storyteller, I'm a writer, an artist, all that. And I had this graphic in my head for quite a while, and I finally sat there and made it. So this is normal storytelling from a company. On the good side, the left, the red line dividing, the company is good, DC Comics. Batman is good. And you, the readers, the crowdfunding backers, you're good. You believe what Batman believes, and if you could be Batman, you would be him. We're going to make an awesome Batman story, and you're going to be inspired to be great. This is normal storytelling. This works. This is what I do at Big Man Comics. It's awesome. Modern left-wing DEI, SJW, feminist, communist, weirdos. This is what they do. Now look, Jericho, this is what they do. Boop. That's what they do when they write a story.
No.
The company.
That's not what you're supposed to do.
Batman is good, and guess what, you right-wing chud? You're just as bad as Adolf. You're just as bad as this.
You're the same. You're the same as Hitler, simply because we disagree.
Right. And guess what? If you think I'm kidding, and this asshole got fired from DC Comics in 2020, you think I'm kidding. Here's a former DC Comics editor that I had the displeasure of working for, Andy Curry. Here's a tweet of his from 2019. And he's a left-wing social justice warrior who hates conservative people, hates men. He's that kind of a guy. What people actually mean when they say they want non-political comics like when they were kids is that they're devastated to have woken up one day as an adult, read a comic book, and realize they've grown up to become the kind of person their childhood hero punches in the face. Now, Jericho, if you owned Warner Brothers DC Comics and your editor was saying this to your paying customers, how quickly would you get rid of him?
He'd be in my office in a heartbeat. And
he wouldn't be in my office. He'd be in the parking lot with the cardboard box with all his shit in it.
Well, I want to fire him face to face.
Oh, okay.
I want that one for myself. That's the dumbest shit in the world.
Fuck? I'll let you go. But what the fuck would me and you be? Big Man Comics, Jericho Green, Green's House. What would we be without paying backers, paying customers? We'd be doing something else.
Yeah.
Why would you ever mistreat these people?
Yeah,
Why would you ever do this? Why?
You can't walk around your establishment slapping your customers in the face.
It's insane. It's totally insane.
It's anti-business. It's anti-business. Those are the people you're supposed to cater to. If they wanted you to draw stick figure comic books, and if that's what the people wanted, well, then get to drawing stick figure comic books if you want to be in the comic book business. But you cater to your customer, especially when you have a copy and paste template of this is what's worked. So let me jump on in, do what works, get this money. I don't understand. It's the arrogance of the social justice warrior that they know everything. And if you disagree, you must be annihilated. Because obviously, Jericho, the only way you can disagree with me, the perfect, brilliant SJW, the only way you disagree is if you're stupid or evil or racist. And you're probably all three. So when you disagree with my social justice story crap that I write, the new Lord of the Rings or the new Star Wars, we made Darth Vader. It's not because it sucks. It's not because it's garbage. No.
It's because you're evil.
Yeah. Everything I do is perfect.
This has got to be one of the stupidest things I've ever watched happen. Stupid. And just like forget your politics, left wing, right wing. DC Comics, Marvel, Disney, all of you. Don't you like money? Don't you like money? Why don't you just do this and then just print all the money you want?
Yeah. How much do you want? Throw a number out there. Go get it. Go get it. It's that easy. How long has Superman been around? Since the 30s?
Right.
Still printing money. Well, maybe not as much now.
Right.
But could have been, when you just take what's been working for 80 years and fucking do it. Continue.
Right. But I mean, you see the beauty of this little diagram I made? It's
Hitler. Literally. You're literally Hitler. Shut up.
And I agree, Martin, you're brilliant, Martin, because you agree with me. That's what makes you smart. I think this exact thing, Jericho, and you tell me, Trump will fix this cultural wreck, is what he meant to write. And I believe his reelection in 20 days, and I think we're going to get results on the 5th. I don't think they're going to be doing ballots in the morning. Kamala is so horrific.
Oh, man, especially after today.
And all the polling, the betting markets, everything, she's getting blown out.
Mm-hmm.
When Trump comes back into office, it's a type of cultural persuasion that daddy's home. That's enough.
Yep.
It's kind of like you're a dad, I'm a dad, and the kids are out of control. They're screaming, they're fighting, they're throwing food, they're doing, and mom's trying to handle it, and they're just defiant. And then what does dad do?
Yep.
And then everything stops, and all you have to do, dad, is just say, "Hey," in that dad voice. And that's like what Trump's gonna do. That's who he is culturally, you know. So
this is what they created. They created a place where that's what we need. So that's what we're going to get. Daddy's going to be upset when he gets home.
Oh, look at this. This is a sweet comment. Vinzinger, aka El Otaku, aka the Weeb Pillar. Pick a name. It's too many names. Joe Musashi and Michael Coulter. I do like Michelle Rodriguez and Danny Trejo, but my favorite, Danny Trejo's a badass. My favorite big time Latinos are Drew Hernandez, Jorge Ventura, Savannah Hernandez, Gabe El Taib, and the Latino slant. I don't know who the Latino slant is, though.
Ew, he made it.
Right. Knock that crap off. Charlie Stevenson. That's right. That's the dad.
Right. Hey! Send a shockwave through the house.
Right.
Send a damn shockwave.
Right. You've done it. I've done it. We've all done it. They're just going, and mom's like, stop it. Stop yelling at your brother. Stop hitting your brother. Stop it. And the kids, they don't give a shit what mom is saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just, hey.
Here it comes. And then they say, you can hear him negotiating with your wife. No, don't call dad. No, it's too late. It's too late. I've already sent out the bat signal. He's coming.
All right.
You fucked that
up. Heather says, my dad. Well, God bless your dad, Heather. You know, dads. I think the last 50, 60 years of experimenting, we read an experiment in Western culture. What would it be like if almost no one had a dad, and the people that did have a dad, he was a pussy? What would that be like? Now we know. Look, everyone, I hate it.
It's real life.
So
look, everyone, we're living it.
Look, everyone, how could it get any worse for people?
Damn it, we weren't supposed to be living it.
Right.
Stupid asses.
So
stupid asses.
It's time to make dads great again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as they say in French, absolument. How come French stuff just sounds slick?
But I mean, the French definitely are up there with language. They do have a cool language, but that's about it. And good food, but not good on the war scene. When
no dads around, vampires take every town. Well, none the miser. It's a good thing you bring that up. Let me look at a few more comments here real quick. I live in Argentina, which means the land of silver. Our president Milei is pushing the woke agenda out of citizen. He's a hero, that guy. And I love his little chainsaw that Milei had. And that's what Elon Musk is going to do as the Department of Government Expenditure, the Doge department that Trump's going to make him the head of. And I love that it's not if Donald Trump will be president, it's just when now. It's inevitable. It's coming. And there's going to be such wailing and gnashing of teeth. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious. But yeah, I want him to take a chainsaw to all the government fat and the waste and all of it. Yeah. Let's see. Heather, speaking about her father, she still misses him. You'll always miss him, but he's there with you and what he taught you. You know what I mean? My husband is lucky. He taught me so much. LOL. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Men out there, men watching, because most of my audience is men, of course. If you find a good woman, you're blessed. If you find a good woman that had a good, you're double blessed, because that helps the women so much when they had that male figure loving them growing up. So, you know, what do you think? Now, you and I have talked about this a little bit, but I won't name names. My brother, he loves crazy women. He dates, and I've always been averse to crazy women. And there's a type of guy out there that likes crazy ass women, and I don't. I want peace. I want quiet. You know. Where do you come down on lunatic chicks?
I think that they are like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, a real high-end sports car. They're fun to drive on the weekend. It's nice weather. Maybe there's a festival or something in town. You're gonna cruise around, get a lot of eyeballs on it. But are you gonna commute every day for 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night? 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening sitting in traffic in a Ferrari? No, that's not really built for the everyday. That's flashy. That's every once in a while. But no, it's not for the long haul, and it usually ends in a twisted flaming wreckage.
Well, speaking of women and relationships, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, with enough kids to start his own baseball team.
Hey,
Marsden is here.
What is up, guys?
What's up, man? I like the facial hair, the beard. I'm like,
you like this? Does it make me distinguished?
Very. I was high. I already hold you in a high regard, but that beard, you're in the penthouse now. Very
you liking that? You liking that? It's good to see you guys. Really, really good to see you.
How you doing?
Good to see you too, man.
I'm doing good. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like the run up to the election. Everything's getting a little bit wacky.
Did you see, like, I don't know if you guys have this in the UK, but in America, a common prank with the youth is to take a paper bag, like a brown paper bag for lunch, put dog poop in it, and then light it and put it on someone's porch. You ring the doorbell, they come out, what the hell? They stomp the fire, and then they get poop all over their shoe. So what I want to know is, did you see that flaming bag of dog shit called the Kamala on Fox interview with Brett Hume? Because those are both flaming sacks of feces.
Do you know what? I actually, because I had to go and pick my daughter up just from ballet, and I listened to it, and I was like, please go on Joe Rogan, please go on Joe Rogan, please go. I mean, oh my goodness.
3 hours. I don't know. Could she do that? Could we do that? Could Joe Rogan sit there for 3 hours with that?
I listen. Apparently, they were going.
That's what Brett Byer said. He talked to other Fox reporters after. He said 4 of her handlers were off camera, like, that's enough. End this thing.
Yeah, I mean, she's terrible. She's terrible.
It was bad. It was like, so tell me about your plans to fix the economy. Look, all you got to do is get some flour, brown sugar, white sugar, a little vanilla extract, some chocolate chips. Beautiful recipe. No, that's not what we're asking. We're asking.
Beautiful recipe, Jericho. It's probably the best ever.
That's good.
Some people say.
Have you been practicing? That's good.
I've been practicing.
You gotta get
I've been listening
you gotta suck through your teeth.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're very bad people.
I'm impressed.
They're very bad people.
Very bad. Yeah, and they were. All the stuff
he said, were.
Trump needs to start wearing like that Swami future, crystal, like the turban, and carry around a crystal ball, because everything that man says, it happens. It happens.
He's right. He's it's funny because he says things and then they go, no, we're fact checking, it's wrong. And then like 2 days later, they're like, actually.
And we don't want to, and if they do like a reprint, like they print a correction, it's like at the bottom, way down there. You got to search and dig. And that was really bad. I don't think if we could have scripted that. It could have been worse. Like if you had people in place, let's make this bad. Let's make her. It couldn't have been worse if people planned it. That was exactly what we thought. Those of us who can see through this nonsense, that's exactly what we thought it was going to be. But seeing it in real time was something else.
It was absolutely unbelievable.
Where she goes, you know what I mean? And he goes, actually, I don't know what you mean.
Actually, I don't.
Because everyone else is like, what? What?
Well, this is what happens when she constantly just gets softball. You know, she's in the bosom of the media. Come here, we'll send you to, what is it? Call her daddy, and it's through all the smoke. And Charlemagne, I refuse to call him that. And all these really safe, comfortable spaces. And that's not what we want to see. We want to see the real shit. We need it sugar coated and wrapped up. Give it to us raw. We're out here living life. We got lives. We got kids. We got jobs. We got businesses. We can handle that. Give it to us raw. Let us digest it. But that shit, and you can't nail her down. Her favorite baseball team must be the Dodgers. Because you can't, she will not answer a question. I don't get it. And they're talking about, and Trump's supposed to be going on Rogan too. I hope he goes first, just so you have that contrast. If
there's no way she's going on Rogan. There's no way she's going.
I think
it's just too long.
I think you've seen the end of her.
Tonight was the end. That was it tonight. That's a wrap.
That was bad. Just like Sloppy Joe. That debate with Trump, that was it. That was it.
Man.
He said we destroyed Medicare. You sure did.
I love the fact
oh my God.
You see Clinton comes out and he's talking about Lake and Riley, and he literally says if they would have been vetted properly, she would still be alive. That should be game over. There's not one American that should lose their lives over a politician and a politician's decisions. It's abhorrent. I don't understand where we are as a country. I don't understand it. There are so many moments that we've seen, even like, you know, the 2 Trump assassination attempts should be over, right? I mean, that should be it. Like it should be a wrap, and it's not. And then these disasters. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Jericho, what you said about Kamala Harris before, like, as you know, like my area of expertise is acting, and it's improvisation. And improvisation is always something you should have in your back pocket in case things go wrong, right? It's like the emergency shoot. It's like throw it up, like we need some help. So when you're on set, and which has happened to me, it happened to me recently with I can't say who it is, but you know, you can figure it out. Like someone who was having difficulties. Okay. And so when you get a response that isn't what is down on the script, and this can happen all the time, you have to improvise around it, right? You can't like go, and part of that is having a clear understanding of the character that you're playing so you can answer in character, right?
Right.
So just put a pin in that a second, right? So you to be able to know how to answer in a character, you have to be able to relate that character to something in yourself, right? Which is an anchor. Okay, not getting all like, you know, technical and lovey and actory. But the reason why Trump is so great at improvisation is because it's who he is, right? There's no filter. So for me, when I'm acting, I have to go, okay, how would the character respond? And it all has to be done like that, right? How would the character respond? And link that to some kind of emotional reaction that I would have myself, right? Kamala Harris is completely devoid of any real kind of personality, any real kind of fundamental principles that she believes in. You've seen it. Brett Baer just did it, right? He went, you said this, then you said that within the space of a week. And she was like, I would just like to say, she does with a nasal. She's very nasal, right? And she goes off because she doesn't really believe any of it. It's just a power play. She's just an empty suit. Right. And that's why she was struggling, Jericho. That's why she can't. She goes, okay. You know, she says, she goes, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a stall while her brain goes, what else can I say?
And it's so obvious. It's like when your children try to lie to you. It's so obvious. It's almost hard to watch. And speaking of Lake and Riley and the illegals committing crimes, you're not an illegal, but you are an immigrant to this country.
Mhm.
One thing I hate that will make me go from zero to murderous is when somebody says immigrants commit less crimes than native-born citizens. How about you don't commit any? How about we have plenty of homegrown criminals, so we're supposed to give you some kind of cookie because you came over here and didn't commit, or you commit less than we do, those of us who were born here? What the hell does that even mean? Don't commit any.
Well, I'll give you a better one than that. Every single illegal immigrant in this country has committed a crime.
It's that
so it doesn't matter
word.
Anyway. Illegal immigrant has committed a crime. It's called illegal immigrant because you broke the friggin' law when you came into the country illegally.
No, Matt, look, Matt, we'd love to have you here, but if you're going to bring common sense, you can go.
Right.
You can go. This is not a place for common sense.
You
and
can
facts
fuck off back
and
to Sheffield.
Yeah, take your logic and your common sense and get the fuck out of here.
Oh, speaking of fucking off back to England, I went to the Shakespeare pub last night. I had puffer chips.
Okay.
Shepherd's pie.
What did you have?
Knock it off.
I had shepherd's pie. I had the chips with the beef gravy. Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. There's a place here when you finally get out here for Comic-Con or whatever. The Shakespeare pub, the owners are from England. And it's
All
like
right.
there's a lot of English people there watching soccer and all that. And it's good, dude.
Can you believe that this all came from that one conversation
one
where
episode,
Jericho was like, I'm not eating that.
Matt,
I haven't had that kidney pie. I'm not doing that.
I needed therapy after you told me that you guys eat shrimp and cucumber sandwiches.
Yeah. I'm
like
telling you.
You know, like after World War II, they had the Nuremberg trials and all that. There should be some kind of culinary trial that you need to stand for eating cucumber and shrimp sandwiches, sir.
Be knocking.
I'm not.
At least we're not eating the cats, Jericho. We're not eating the cats.
Beautiful cats. Most beautiful cats you've ever seen. Tasty.
Jericho. It must be from Scotland because it's called Scotch. But they had at the pub on the appetizer a thing called a Scotch egg.
Oh, yeah.
You take a hard-boiled egg, dude. Hard-boiled egg. You wrap it in like breakfast sausage. Then you roll it around in breadcrumbs and then deep fry that bitch.
Ew, what?
Dude, so good.
I'm telling you.
So good.
I'll try that before I try a damn shrimp and cucumber sandwich or these kidneys, these organ-filled pies you keep talking about.
You know what we should do one time when I come out there? We'll do a day where we'll just film it all and we'll have you guys, your reaction as you eat.
You know what,
Matt? I'll eat the kidneys if you come out here. I'm not eating them on my own. That's horrific.
My family, we put our house on the market. We're moving to Texas. So we might get to meet up in Texas for.
It's going to be your little
Are you serious?
Yeah, Dallas, Fort Worth.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
That's right. I want to see
both
of you wearing like 10-gallon hats and shit.
I'll do it. I'll get those really curved toe cowboy boots.
I just took mine off. I just took my cowboy boots off. I'm telling you.
Just kick them off. No, we're moving out there. So definitely once we get settled, man, we'll meet up for some. Not for what you're talking about, not for that food, but we'll meet up for some.
Oh, that has made my day. That's great. That is great. All right.
It's cool. It's cool. California, you know, it's like the wildebeest on the plains of Africa. When they migrate, they follow the rain and they get to the edge of these rivers that are teeming with crocodiles. And they're just getting pushed from the back. And the ones that are in the front, they're slowly being pushed toward the edge, about to go off this cliff. And I feel like that's what California is doing. They're slowly pushing us toward the edge to where we got to do something. So
listen, and you know, just wait, because now what you're going to do is you guys, you're going to see Jericho get radicalized when he comes out here, because when they say "Don't California my Texas," he's going to go, "You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall."
Yeah, I would dare not bring the residue of California to the great state of Texas.
Diesel brings up a good point about NFL football, Jericho. You're going to train into your 49er Rainbow Pride hat for some Cowgirls booty shorts.
As soon as you trade in your silver and black dildo for some Denver Broncos booty shorts.
Hold on. Speaking of that, Diesel, he's a regular here, Matthew. He's one of the great fans. He's always here.
He's a
loves the
regular,
Lo-
but he's irregular.
He
if
loves
that
the
makes
Oakland,
sense.
Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders, who are arch enemy of the Denver Broncos, my team, the greatest team in NFL football. And we had a bet. Broncos Raiders played a week ago, and whoever won, the loser had to make a video saying extolling the virtues of the other team. And he was not here to take his medicine. So now, if you'll indulge me for 39 seconds, he sent me the video. Hold on.
All right,
And
hang
we're gonna
on,
watch
hang
it
on,
for
hang
39.
on. I want to get prepared.
All right, to my brother Gabe, I bow down this time to your donkeys. You guys whooped our ass. I have to admit it. It was a shameful thing to watch. Breaks my heart, but I was pretty fearful of it. I mean, we beat you guys 8 games in a row. That's pretty remarkable if you ask me.
See?
But not this time. The donkeys prevailed. Hats off to you. And congratulations. And you're acting like you won the fucking Super Bowl.
You know what I think is crazy? Is I didn't know that the gay bathhouse let you film in the parking lot anymore, Diesel.
That is so funny.
Yeah, they do. They were all standing out of frame. Hurry up, hurry up. He's like, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, that's terrible.
He took his medicine like a man. So much respect to Diesel.
Do you know when I very first came to America and people were teaching me about the different teams, because you guys are going to hate the team that I ended up being a fan of. Yeah.
Don't say the Patriots. Just
Matt,
don't say that. No, don't say the Chiefs.
Matt, hold on.
Patriots.
You came. I'm sure it's the same thing in the UK. When you become a citizen of another country, you have a clean slate. You know, whatever team, whatever football team, whether that be European football, American football, whatever team you got, that's it. Ride or die, good or bad. You cannot jump ship to another team.
No.
So when you come to another country, you have a chance to pick any team that you want, and you chose whom?
There's a reason why I'm going to tell you this, though. There is a reason behind it, because I'm just predicating it with this, right? Because, okay, so when I was a kid, I got given an LA Rams t-shirt, right? So I was like, okay, wherever you live, you go with your local team, right? Like you go with your local team. But when I first moved here, I was like, I don't know anything about football. I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know anything about baseball. And I'm Catholic, so my priest was from Boston, and it was a year where we started watching the Red Sox. And he said, I'll teach you what this is, what that is. And so we'd be on the phone. I'll be like, what is that play? Who's that guy that's very tech? And who's this? And so he said, don't worry, we never win anything. And that was the year they won the World Series, right? That year when I watched it. And I was like, okay, I guess I better be a Red Sox fan, right? Now, I got friends. My friends own the Dodgers, right? Like the last owners. And I was like, I can't because I've kind of picked my team. To your point, like I've picked my team, it's the Sox. And then I was like,
wow, he even says Sox like he's from Boston.
You're for real, okay.
Wow.
Back the car and have a yard. But
the Red Sox.
The Red Sox. So so then I was like, okay, well, I'm all in Boston, right? It's got to be all Boston. And I didn't want to go and support the Lakers, right? Because I can't do that. But yeah, so I supported all the Boston teams.
Wow.
So Patriots.
But wait a minute. Being a man of British origin,
I know
the Patriots,
right?
They killed a lot of British people. Now you're in
I know, but
now.
You know me, Gabe. I would have been on that side.
Of course. That's true.
But I do want to say this. Someone said to me, you should be a Raiders fan because they're more like British football hooligans than anybody else.
True.
And it's stayed in my head. And I actually do have a vintage Raiders shirt.
Wow.
I do have one.
Did you cut that person out of your life immediately? Because only someone who does not have your best interest at heart would suggest the Raiders. And as Gabe said, LA, Oakland, Las Vegas, we don't know. They're the NFL's only homeless team
Yeah, they've been all over the place.
But so what year was this?
Homeless
When
fans, homeless players.
Yeah, they're a mess, man. They're a real mess. It's like a soggy shit sandwich.
Right.
But listen, they're I got to tell you, like the branding from someone from the outside. My next door neighbor's a Raiders fan. I got to tell you, like, you know, the black and the silver.
Oh, coolest merch.
It's badass.
It's super cool.
A black Raiders hat. That's that's right up there with the Yankee, a blue Yankee hat with the white and white.
It's
iconic.
Great stuff.
Yes, iconic. From a marketing standpoint, the Raiders nailed it. But let me ask you this. So when you became a Patriots fan, what year was that? Was it in the middle of their 2001 to whenever Brady left?
Yeah,
Reign
it was.
of terror?
Well, when did I'm trying to think of when it was around the same time that the Red Sox won
the first Patriot
World
win
Series.
was January of 2002. The first Super Bowl win was January 2002.
Yeah.
When was because I wasn't really watching that. When was the big break for the? I got a feeling it was 2004 when the because I'm not that into it, but when they won the World Series, the Sox, was it 2004?
The Sox was 2004, and the Patriots beat the Eagles, I think, in 2004. So
there you go. That's
that
was
a hell of a year.
And then I think like within a 4-year span, the Celtics beat the Lakers in 2008, and even the hockey team, the Boston Bruins, they won it around then too. So it was just like Boston was just winning everything. So.
Yeah, and
that's why
they
call it Title Town.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? It wasn't like because my soccer team in the UK is just a small town team, so I know what it's like to go and glory.
Team.
Just a small town team. Did I ever tell you my Steve Perry story?
No.
Do you guys want to hear it?
One of the greatest voices ever. Please.
All right, so
little fella, right? Just tiny little guy, right?
Well, let me tell you this story because you guys would be like, this is. In my life, these weird things have happened to me. So I go and have a meeting. I produced a documentary called Finding Noah a few years ago, and I went to meet with this woman who is the #1 like poster maker in Hollywood. So do you remember the Lorax? Remember the Lorax poster? It's very famous. It's just all like orange with the. So she did that. She did a bunch of others. And so I go and meet with her for lunch, and we get on amazingly. Like me, her, and a mutual friend. We were having a great time, and it was one of those, you know, when you're like, you don't want the meeting to end because there's something going on. I don't mean like dodgy, you know, but like just a synergy between minds. You know, yeah, she did that. So like super bright, super talented. So she said to me, we start talking about her life, and she was recovering from cancer.
Oh no.
Yeah, and she was just telling me all this experience, and she goes, "Hey, listen, do you want to go? Let's go and have a drink and continue talking." I was like, "Yeah," and it was completely like, you know, there was nothing in it or anything like that. It wasn't. It was just purely, you know, a friendship, and we were connecting like that. And so I went to a bar with her on Hollywood Boulevard, and she goes, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, and he fell in love with another friend of mine, and she died. They were all in remission and cancer together. And I was like, okay. And this guy comes down, and I'm talking to him, and lovely guy, tells me his life story, just tells me what he's doing now. He's writing music for movies and soundtracks and everything. And then I leave about an hour later, and I get in the car and I call my business partner. I'm like, hey, I just had this great conversation with this guy. He was in a band. I said, have you heard of it? It's called Journey. And my business partner just goes, what? And I went, Journey. Have you heard of the band Journey? And she goes, what are you talking about? And she starts listing up all these songs. None of them I knew.
Wow. Were they not big in England?
No.
What?
Yep. Only Don't Stop Believing was big, obviously, because it was big everywhere. And she goes, you mean Steve Perry? And I was like,
Journey?
Yeah. And she goes, The Voice. Like, I'll never forget it. And I was like, I didn't know who it was. So anyway, yeah, somehow I ended up in a bar on Hollywood Boulevard with Steve Perry, and he was terrific. Lovely
awesome.
man.
You know,
That's cool.
Matthew, I've met way less actors and all that than you, but I've been to a lot of Hollywood stuff because of working for DC Comics.
Yeah.
And I met a few and they were awesome. Some people were interesting. I won't say bad. But isn't it great when you meet people in that business and you're like, are they going to be arrogant, weird movie star? And then they're like awesome, salt of the earth. Isn't that awesome when you meet them like that?
Yeah. And I think that a lot of the time, you know, because I mean, I've been in this situation the other way, right? Where you meet people that are fans of the stuff you've done. You guys are now, you know, you have fans. And it's, you know, it's kind of when you get to certainly for someone like him, that's a real release for him to be able to talk to somebody who doesn't know who he is, right? So he's being treated like a normal human being because it is weird, right? But like you said, Gabe, I mean, you know, you meet people. I mean, obviously for me, I mean that's my job, right? So I'll be opposite the actors, and I don't know if it was because of the English, the training you get as an Englishman, the kind of reputation that British actors have. Like to a person, people are cool with me.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? Like I haven't. There's been a couple of people that have been a little bit wacky. But when it comes on set, when you go on set, I think it's because they're like, you know what, the guy's coming in, he's doing what he's got to do, and you know, we give him a little bit of space. You know what I mean? So I've never really experienced like huge egos. That maybe twice, I think, on set. So, but again, it's like more of a working kind of like peer environment, and I have seen people behave like assholes to people outside of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's funny. Like, I'll tell you too, this comic book artists and writers are not rock stars, and most of them have been very awesome and nice with me and the fans. But I've met a few that you would think they thought they were the biggest celebrity in the world. And it made me laugh, actually. I remember telling my wife, get a load of this bastard, you know, just like condescending. And like, it was like, dude, we're comic book artists. Would you calm down? Like it's a nerdy job. Like, get out of here, dude. So
Hey, let me ask you this, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Two questions I've always had. You look at people, you look at somebody who's famous and they have an entourage. And I've said this myself. I've heard plenty of other people say this. And they said, if that were me, I wouldn't need an entourage. I don't need people to make all these appointments for me. I don't need people to set this up, set that up, and get me coffee and all this stuff. I'd do all that on my own. That's question one. So is it possible to do that? Is it possible to make your way through Hollywood without having a team? And question number two is it easy? Like everybody who's famous started out not being famous, unless your parents were, you came out of the chute a normal person. So is it easy to stay that normal, grounded person in Hollywood?
Two really great questions. The first one, yes, of course. I mean, if you look at someone like Bill Murray, I don't even think he has a cell phone, right? So he's a complete disaster to try and get a hold of. I mean, in Hollywood's eyes, right? Because he's living his life and he'll get an answer machine message or something like that. Like, you know, he doesn't care. So I think it's becoming increasingly more difficult because they're telling people that that's what they need when they don't. But I mean, even if you look at someone like Keanu Reeves, who has, you know, multiple different companies, successful companies, he's got Arch Motorcycles, right? He's got a bunch of stuff going on, and he still like rides the tube when he's in New York. So yeah, I mean, it depends.
I thought it was pronounced tube.
Like Tuesday.
Oh, the tube. Yeah.
The tube on a Tuesday. The tube.
The tube, yeah. It's like, what was the other thing? Tuna.
Yeah. That sounds grosser than tuna, and I hate tuna.
Definitely sounds more gross than tuna.
So that's the first one. No, I haven't met Ricky Gervais. I'd love to. He has answered my tweets or responded to my tweets, though. I think he's brilliant. And what was the second one again? What was the second question?
What was the second question?
Well, Was the
Oh
first
yeah,
one
is it
about having an
possible?
entourage?
Yeah, having the team, and then the second one is it possible to stay who you are and not get swept up in that, or does
It's
it take some work?
you know what I think that what Hollywood does is it amplifies the person that you are. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like if you're an asshole, like we all know this, like you don't have to be a Hollywood actor to be an asshole. You can be you can work in a supermarket and be an asshole. I just think that what it does is it enables it and it amplifies it like very quickly. And what you see now a lot of the time, like with your Rachel Zeiglers and all that, is they're just being, before they would have been hidden away, right? You wouldn't have seen that side of them. They would have just come out and they would have smiled and they would have done an interview, and the interview would have been carefully curated and everything. And now you're seeing them come out and they're just being arrogant. But I will say this: everyone's susceptible to temptation, right? Whether that is temptation, money, power, sex, food, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, there's a temptation there, right? And I think that Hollywood has all those things. It has all those things if you want it, right? And you'll be given it if you want it.
Well, let me ask you this about that real quick. You make, Hollywood, you make good money. And when you're working, you're working. You're there 14 hours a day, but you're not always filming a movie. So now you got a lot of money and you got a lot of free time. And is that when the temptation comes in for people, right? They're not filming a movie for 2-3 months.
No, I actually think kind of the opposite, because because think about this, right? So you're getting paid a lot of money. And let's just say you're single, right? You're single, you're getting paid a lot of money, and then they go, "Hey, we're shooting this movie in Australia or the Bahamas." You're like, okay. So you fly over to the Bahamas, you're in a beautiful hotel, the best hotels, and your co-star is smoking hot.
Right.
Right. And so you got money, you've got temptation, and then everything's getting paid for. And then they take you out for a meal, and then super hot person's there. You're not in your real world. You're taken out of your real world, right? So this is all a fantasy. And then, one of the things might be that you're doing a love scene with the woman earlier on that day, and then or doing a kissing scene or a romantic scene. And then later on that day, you got to go ahead like it's all normal. Like nobody in their normal job goes, okay, today I'm going to turn up. I'm going to be in bed with so-and-so.
Cindy Crawford
part of my job.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I said Cindy Crawford in 1992. Go ahead.
Yeah. You're like, please. So you know what I mean? So I think that's where a lot of the temptation comes in. All right. That's the part that ruins the
I guess I could see that, the stress of working all day, and then you're like, let's blow off some steam.
But that's an impossible situation, Matt. To be a single young man, money, amenities, hotties, all the ease. That's an impossible situation to say no to.
There's a lot of temptation there. There's a lot of temptation. And then, you got, like I say, people are giving you alcohol or, not plying you with it, not like in a weird kind of P. Diddy way, but like, so, you're in this like kind of alien environment, which is not normal. And it kind of messes with your head a little bit. And it takes a lot to kind of go, be regimented enough to say, you know what, I'm going to bed. And I'm not going to be around this, or I'm going. And I have seen actors, that are single, because I've been, I've been married nearly 20 years now. So, but I've seen actors who have been single that have been disciplined, and they've stayed away from it. And a lot of that is, it's kind of like, do you have bottles of booze in the house? If you're an alcoholic, it's probably best if you don't, right? But I will say this. The amount of Christians that I see that are like, we're making Christian movies and we're not going to be tempted by those temptations of Hollywood, like sex and money. And And the moment it's waved around them,
On it.
it's the same, Jericho, as what it is for anybody else, man.
Mhm.
It just is. You know, we have that we know that we are broken people, right? That, you know, we have our flaws. So the best thing to do is, can you stay away from it? Well, yeah, because I have. But is that easy for most people? No, because you get there and it's like everything's thrown at you.
Mhm.
And that is hard for a young person to take. It's hard to comprehend. And I want to say this. One of the much maligned things that they say about Trump, what he said, remember when they say, oh, they let you.
Oh yeah, just leave that
Oh.
part out. The let you part. The
Yeah.
They always leave that out.
The word "let" is the operative word in that sentence.
It's a small word, but it carries a lot of weight. Now, like you said before, the amplifier, fame. I believe that fame, alcohol, and babies are amplifiers. If you have a baby and your life's going good, that baby's gonna make it great. If not, it's gonna make it tough. Alcohol. If you, like you said, if you're an asshole, that alcohol is just gonna crank it up to 10. If you're a nice person, the alcohol is you're gonna be very, probably a fun drunk.
Yeah.
But if not, you're gonna be a very bad drunk.
Mean. Yeah.
Here's something I wondered. I've heard comics say this. I've heard comics say that when you're on stage and you're getting the laughs and the adulation, that's one thing. But then next thing you know, you're back in your hotel room by yourself, heating up a burrito in the microwave and watching, TV, watching shitty hotel TV. So have you ever found yourself in that situation? Maybe coming from a movie premiere or coming from a set, maybe somewhere where, how about this? Maybe a situation like when you went to that store with your friend to get something, and next thing you know, there's 500 people at the market, and it's hard for you to get out, or the 27,000 people who showed up at the tree lighting. Have you ever had a situation where, Matt, over here, and then boom.
What are you wearing?
Yeah.
You walk, pull it out. And then next thing you know, you're in the foyer in your house and your kids are running up to you. And if you had that, was that a warm, good feeling, or did it take some adjustment to go from the hot lights of Hollywood to, at home where you're just dad, not just, but you're dad.
No,
not
Yeah, no, I've had it. I mean, I can remember thinking, oh my goodness, I'm experiencing that moment. You know what I mean? Like 1 minute I'm at a premiere, right? And then the next minute I'm cleaning up poop in a diaper, like literally the same day. And I'm kind of there and I'm like, this is so weird. I remember saying to myself, this is so weird, and like, putting the washing in the washing machine. You know what I mean? You're like, hang on a second. It's kind of, it's weird, but I think that it all depends on which part of that you find weird. You know what I mean? So to me, putting the stuff and doing my chores and wiping my kid's backside is not weird. Going to the premieres or going by private jet and doing this, that's weird. That's like not my daily occurrence. So it is kind of like massive extremes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I have very I have a lot of sympathy for people who become famous young, because it's just like super overwhelming. And then
see how so many of them turn out to the big child stars. It's sad.
Like the Hannah Montanas and the kids that are just
that Corey
worldwide superstars at 10. That has I wouldn't be mad if they outlawed that. Like, you can't be famous until you're like 18 or 21, because man, is it tough. It's tough for adults to make it out of that minefield. A kid, even if you have great parents who are hands-on and they're on set and they're making sure ain't no weirdos doing shit, but just, you can't go outside. You can't go to the mall. You can't go to the park. You can't do shit because you're just the most famous little kid on earth. It's tough to make it out of it.
It reminds me, Matthew, of you're at the movie premiere and then you're changing a diaper. Mitt Romney, multi-billionaire, ran for president, lost the election to Obama in 2012, and then like a day or two later, they took this picture of him and made like kind of just like,
damn.
Now this gas
What
station.
a contrast.
I've been to this gas station mall. This is right by this is very near to where I live. This is in La Jolla, California. This is very close. I've been there. This is right next to a liquor store called Dick's Liquor, by the way.
Yeah.
And but
Yeah.
DC Comics was like 4 blocks from here. This is right by the ocean. But I remember this photo is like one of the richest, powerful men in the world. And here he is, like, just trying to pump my gas, asshole. Put the camera away.
He's probably so relieved, you know, being able to get back to, you know, normal life for a billionaire instead of, you know, the hustle and bustle of being on the campaign trail. But I've always wondered, you know, and you see it, and I'm not going to compare it because there's no loss of life or injury or anything like that. But like soldiers, I remember hearing from somebody who was in the service that back in World War II, it would take you weeks, maybe a month or 2 to get home after you're not in the field anymore. You're not fighting, but just a transition and going from here to there, and how travel was so slow. So you might get done August 1st and you're not home until September 1st. And then as technology advances, now you're taking bullets and IEDs on Monday, and literally by Friday, people are standing in your house with balloons. Welcome back, Dad, honey, babe, son, uncle. And like, they're still there, you know, mentally they're still back there. So I've always wondered, you know, for people who are famous, you know, how is it to kind of gear down and get back to, you know, if you know, if they're in the
I also think, Jericho, it's more of a question of what happens when it goes away and you get older. And I think that, you know, because it is a young man's game or a young woman's game, really, or you know, for the most part. So, and you see it with the way that especially older women just do not want to give up that youth of Hollywood because it means everything to them. Right. You know, so much of it is predicated on how you look. And there are some people that, you know, it's funny because I think the best looking women, like I didn't think this one particular woman was good looking when she was younger, but I think she's probably one of the most attractive older women out there is Helen Mirren. And
yeah. That'll work.
I mean, look, she always had a great figure, right? But she just got old gracefully. And you look at her and you're like, wow, you're really beautiful. Like you're an older woman and you are hot, right? And it's because it was always about the acting for her and it was never about what she looked like. And I think that, and look, it's a horrible curse, right? As well, is that if you're growing up in Hollywood and you're making money and everyone loves you. And then it's like, oh, there's a 20-year-old version of you over there. See ya.
Face palm. They're just like, move, get out of the way.
Yeah, just like, man. But that's hard.
I do think it's like this, though, because it's your physicality, right? It's your body. So they're a young, beautiful 20, 21, 22-year-old woman, and they age out of that, and then everyone's supposed to cry for them. But the analog for men is athletics. You're a 25-year-old NFL player, and then when you're old, you're out of the damn league. And the NFL players don't go, you know, the NFL is really ageist. They're very against slow, weaker, old men. Why do they favor all these strong, fast, young guys? It's like, yeah, you age.
That's how it is. Look at Ronnie Coleman. Right? Ronnie Coleman is probably the greatest example of that. When Ronnie Coleman was in bodybuilding, like a young Ronnie Coleman, maybe 2 or 3 Mr. Olympias, or Mr. Universe, whichever one he got like 8 of. When he's about a couple of those in his prime, he was like, 6 foot, 350 pounds, just muscles everywhere. I think his toe had a muscle in it. But Ronnie Coleman could you bring up a picture of that, Gabe?
Yeah, I'll find him.
Because he was just massive. But you look at him now, he has a walker. He has like those crutches where they go around your wrist.
Because of his back, right? His back.
Oh, yeah, the surgeries and his hips. But man, in his prime, look at that dude.
Yeah, he was 8-time Mr. Olympia, wasn't he?
Oh my goodness, man. That's scary. But
I always love too. He'd be up there, you know, squatting 4 joint power. Lightweight, baby. Lightweight.
Oh, yeah. 200-pound dumbbell in each hand. I'd have a tough time picking up one with both hands. This dude had 200-pound dumbbells in each hand. But I think the double standard that I'm okay with, I'm sorry, call me sexist, whatever ist, that you want. But the double standard, like you were talking about in Hollywood, is women, as they get older, the opportunities may dry up. But for men, it's quite the opposite. That
Right.
distinguished Sean Connery, salt and pepper. You can be an old man if you got the look, that rugged, that kind of look. That might be your prime. You might get the most work ever as a
I'm hoping, Jericho,
60
there's time for me yet, dude. You keep preaching it.
Oh, come on, man. You're just getting started. You're baby
Now,
face.
can you do a Connery Jr.? Can you do it?
Sean Connery.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Going to be in a lot of danger. Dude, he's one
What
of
I
the
love is like,
greatest.
hey, don't you love it when you're like, Sean, you're going to play a Russian submarine commander?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Sean, you're going to play an ancient immortal from Spain? Yes, I will. He just keeps doing Sean Connery. Like, nobody cares. It's
Sean,
like, whatever.
you're going to be a British secret agent and work for MI6, which is a British, like our version of the CIA?
Yeah.
No problem.
Gosh.
And nobody says shit on set, as they should.
And he's a badass. He was a genuine badass. He was a
man.
scrapper.
You know what's funny about a lot of those old celebrities? They were in the military.
Yeah.
They served, fought in World War II, Vietnam and stuff. A lot of those, Clint Eastwood, even what's her name? B. Arthur. She drove trucks for the Marine Corps. Like a lot of those old cats, they were real, like you said, real badasses, real life badasses. And I think a long time ago, if they weren't making the kind of money that some actors do now, so they also had a lot more time. And some of them went back. My mom worked at a convalescent home and took care of one of the original Pittsburgh Steelers. And he said that they would play, and in the offseason they would work, and sometimes for some games they would play for dinner. Like they wouldn't get checks. They would get like a nice steak dinner. So, before all those millions and billions are floating around the NFL, they were kind of forced to be badasses because you lived a normal life in the offseason. And totally unrelated, but my mom also took care of a former Ku Klux Klan member. So, of course, in his senility, he had choice words for all the Mexican and Black and Asian nurses. And so my mom told me she went into his room one time to give him his medicine, and he let her have it. There were M-bombs falling everywhere. And I was like 13, 14. I'm like, Mom, why didn't you say something? Yeah, why didn't you do something to him? In my adolescent, short-sightedness. And she said, honey, whenever he stands up, he shits himself because he has no control over his bowels. She's like, there's nothing I can do. It's gonna be worse than that.
Yeah.
Like life got him back. Don't worry about it. But I thought that was funny. But yeah, these guys, you had to be a badass a long time ago. Clint Eastwood crashing in the San Francisco Bay and swimming like a mile and a half at night. At night? Nah, kill me.
Shark-infested waters.
Kill me.
No
way. No way.
Talking
Now,
of
Matt,
which, look at that Connery in The Rock. What a great film that was. I think I must have watched The Rock like literally hundreds of times. I think
Easily.
it's a great film.
Easily. These little losers complain about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. That was the first time I ever heard him cuss. That was traumatizing for me. But
Yeah.
The Rock, yeah, that movie was the shit, man. Oh my, San Francisco Bay, the Humvee chase scene, all that, man. The island, yeah, that was a great movie. Who directed that?
That was Bay.
Yeah, it was
Michael
Michael Bay. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
That was a badass movie. Now,
Great.
Matt, speaking of, the twilight of a career,
Mhm.
maybe have you, not that you're there or anything, but have you and your wife talked about what maybe you want to step away one day? Maybe, it comes a day where you're like, I'm done with this acting thing. Has that happened? Or that's not even?
Well, getting cancelled in Hollywood kind of makes you step away from it to a degree. I've just, I think it's by force of, I don't want to say personality, but just not quitting. I've still been able to make a living at it, and work doing it. I still write. That's my sweet spot, right? Like I know how to write, I know how to direct and act, obviously. And I think that, I don't know. I mean, as I'm getting older, the truth is that there's less and less stuff that I want to do. like the stuff that I'm seeing, and it's, that comes across my desk. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like I got a script the other day, and they were like, there's a script, it's blah blah blah. I won't say what it is, but they were like, are you okay with doing nudity and gay sex scenes? And I said, no, I'm not. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Hell,
Am I?
Hell. Can I pick him?
It was like, hang on, I'll do it.
I was waiting for you to ask. What the hell?
Typecast again. No, I was like, no, so the thing is it went from, I think that the last kind of golden era actually of film was the early 2000s. And I think that we've kind of really gone away from film since then. And so I don't want to do the majority of stuff out there. What I would really love to do is to be the curator of the content, right? So become more of that mentor figure that can step in, because there's so many people. I mean, like, look at Gabe, Gabe's doing his thing. You guys you're doing your thing. There's no one really looking after the artists anymore. Certainly Christian artists, they're not looking after them or guiding them in a way that demands excellence as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can go and do a Christian film, but they're normally terrible and nobody wants to see them, because guess what? If you do a curse word, then they don't want you in it. Like, all of a sudden you're anathema, right? So, but I think that for me now, because I've done pretty much all aspects of the industry, I've produced, I've directed, I've acted, I've written at the highest level. You kind of go, okay, well, how do I give back now? How do I start mentoring? How do I start curating the content so we can have a shift back towards better material and better content that's out there? Because right now, all those like super woke DEI hires are just destroying the industry and putting out crap. So right. I think that it's incumbent on us. That was kind of like, it's funny saying this because you don't feel like it in your head, but the truth is when I did Transformers, that was like 2010, Rambo's 2008. So that's like 10, 14 years ago now, right? So you kind of, or more, and you're like, okay, well, what is coming up? Nothing. There's nothing coming up that's really even averagely good. I mean, I saw Twisters the other day and I enjoyed it. Like, I saw that, like, they don't hate me when I watched that. It was a good movie, but now we're so shocked at seeing something that isn't insulting us or trying to tell us how to think, that we're kind of like, what's this?
Right, but there's a real hunger for it.
Yeah.
I'm really like you. I'm focusing on my YouTube channel. I'm posting 2 recorded videos a week. And I showed Jericho and the fans this earlier, but I'll show you, since you're writing, you tell me what you think. I thought of this months ago, but I made it for the video I have for tomorrow, that story writing, normal story. This is how the companies and it works. At the company, the characters and the fans, they're the good guys. You want to be like Batman. We think you could be like him. We're going to make him so heroic. You're going to think in your life, maybe I could be a hero. What a great lesson. And the bad guys are the bad guys. Social justice, DEI, feminist, communist bullshit. This is how they write stories, right? You disagreed with my left-wing politics, so you're part of the bad guys, and the heroes and the protagonists of the story, they need to destroy people like you. Do you agree with my concept here? Because this is what I think is wrong with all entertainment today in general. Video games, movies, comic books, all of it. It's, if you are to the right of Stalin, they throw you on the bad guy side in the story. Like, they make the bad guys you. And you're like, why do I want to watch this shit? Do you agree with me, or am I going?
I do. No, I do. The one thing that what I would do is I'd put Batman and I'd put him on the line.
Oh, right. He becomes morally gray. He's no longer just a good
there is no good, right? The only good is them. But, that they won't say that there is an objective moral good. Right, so you have to. That's why what they're doing is they're muddying the waters with all these characters,
right?
And saying, because here's the thing, as you know, if you're appealing to a moral good, you have to appeal to a higher power. Otherwise, all you can say is that it's something I don't like, right? Because you can't say it's objectively morally evil. You can just say, well, I don't really like it. So what they want to do is they want to move those heroic characters. I mean, you kind of, you've seen it. What Disney's really terrible at this. I mean, they're really bad in what they're doing. They're destroying those other characters, the legacy characters, and they're putting them on that line or actually over the line, but mainly it's on the line because, Hilaire Belloc, who was apologist years ago and writer, he said that every heresy has an element of truth in them. And I think that this is why what they do is so insidious, because they take something that has an element of truth in and they wrap a bunch of BS around it and then sell it. And if you're a young person, for example, that hasn't really evolved yet hasn't got enough worldly knowledge, which, that you just have experience, it takes time to get to that. You can't discern what is good and what is fully good. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what they're doing with these characters. So I think you're almost
Right. Yeah. The hero needs to be morally gray. You're right.
like Superman killing somebody.
It makes zero sense. Zero sense.
But they need that moral confusion. They want that
Because that's who
moral
they are.
confusion.
They don't want to admit there's right and wrong, so they can make themselves their own god and do whatever they
That's
want.
right.
They can justify all their selfishness. Remember, this was Star Wars 25 years ago. Now, if you didn't know anything about Star Wars, you just got to Earth today and you saw this face, would you say this was a good or a bad person?
I'd say he's not a cool guy. Yeah.
These are the evil Jedis. Jericho. I don't know if you know about this, but they're called the Sith, the Dark Jedi.
Sweet.
They're bad. In all the Star Wars movies up to 2002 or 3, they're bad. They are the bad guys. It's unquestionable. The latest Star Wars show, which was canceled after one season, the premise of the show is one of the big premises is the guys in the yellow and the brown, the Jedis. They're kind of were bad and dishonest, and they were unfair and big meanies to these guys. That's like one of the major premises of the show, is that the good guys were meanie weenies to these guys. And it just such like, you want to tell the stupid writers of this stuff, would you grow up? Like, I get it. You didn't like your dad. So now all you want to do is defy, convention and authority. And like, you hate the good guys and you want to say, well, really, maybe the bad guy had a point all along.
Yeah.
And it's not entertaining. It isn't entertaining to watch because people don't watch it. They hate it.
There's too many chicks on that poster. Like, I don't like women in like action roles. Can it be done? Yeah, but come on. There's that many women kicking ass back then. And something you mentioned earlier, Matt, them offering you, or not offering, but presenting a script to you where there's nudity and gay, whatever. Even if you're like, it's the art and I'm in my character, I don't see how I could kiss a dude or be bumping and grinding, Brokeback Mountain style with a dude. I can't. That sounds horrible.
But here's what I'll say is this. The laziness in writing and the inability to be able to create a compelling story means that they have to fill all these, they have to fill the gap that's left by mediocre writing, by shock value, right? So that can be gay sex, it can be straight sex. You just got gradations of the kind of depravity, right? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to show? Why do it? And to me, it has always been the refuge of untalented people that go there. Now, I think that there are people that exploit it. Yeah. Do I think that people feel like they have to do certain things? I always remember, like, one of the things going to a drama school, I actually ended up doing, I went to do a performance arts degree instead of going to drama school. But one of the big rumors was that one of the first things you did when you signed up to drama school is you had to do, and I remember this when I was a kid and I was like, I don't want to do it. This is when like culture's pushing on you, right? And it's telling you it's normal. But what you would do is do a day in the life of you. So if you got up and you wore your pajamas and then you got in the shower, you got up, you wore your pajamas and you got in the shower in front of the whole school or the whole class. Yeah, there was a drama. He was a part in the drama school.
What was the alleged point of this? What were you supposed to be learning?
To abandon, to be,
Yeah.
in tune with your art and to blah blah blah. And it's all BS.
Of course.
Right? It's all BS. You don't have to do that. So my point is talking about that other stuff is that it's lazy writing and shock value and a healthy dose of perverts.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it just is.
For sure.
Right.
Now,
But sorry, go on.
but speaking of said love scene, how do you? Let's say it's a regular one with a chick. But I've always wondered what precautions are taken. Like you're kissing another woman, you're breathing heavy, you're tonguing each other. Like what precautions are taken to keep you from getting a boner? Or
that's not up to you anymore, Jericho.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure it happens.
Be careful about this.
I'm sure it happens.
Hey, well, Matthew, you're the actor, but I'll take this one. They tape a little picture of Nancy Pelosi to the ceiling. the audience can't see.
It's soft. Take it down. It's soft.
No, I mean, look, it's like anything when you're acting, right? You have hundreds of people watching, right? And it's just not what you think it is. It's not like sexy when you're doing those things, when you're doing a kissing scene and stuff like that. Is because a lot of the time you're thinking about camera angles, you're also thinking about like, it's kind of a weird scenario. I've always felt it weird because you walk into this situation and like, hi, here's the girl you're going to be kissing. And it's, I mean, what's odd is, a few of the girls that I've done films with and I've kissed, I'm friends with. And it's not weird at all, which you think it would be, right? Because it's like bumping into your ex-girlfriend in a sense, because the act is the act, but it's not like that at all. So it shows that there is some kind of separation. You are, and often look at an officer and a gentleman. They hated each other. They absolutely hated each other, Winger and Richard Gere. So at the end of the day, it is acting, and. For the most part, I mean, you know what women are like in Hollywood. So it takes more than someone being good looking to make them attractive.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you this. I've always wondered this. If I would think, and I have no idea what I'm talking about because I'm not an actor, but I would think if I were an actor, I wouldn't want to do love scenes or kissing because, like, I got a wife and, like, she knows I'm acting, but still she's going to have to watch it. You just watch it on the silver screen.
Yeah, how's that? I've
100
always
feet wide. You're sitting next to your wife at the premiere, and you're all,
yeah. How the hell is that?
Come on, man.
I wondered that too.
If you watch my career, it's not just because I was getting older, but when I got married, I did less of those roles.
Yeah, but is it like a quiet limo ride back to the house?
Oh, it's
or is it
miserable.
Not thought of it all?
No, it's like. When it's coming up, like actually when you're going to go and do a scene where you kiss a woman, it's really difficult for that week.
Yeah.
Right. It just is. And I'm like, look, it's just work, but it's really difficult. And so what I started doing was doing more action roles. So I wasn't put in that predicament because I was a leading man. Right. So then the leading man gets the girl. So that's, a lot of the roles I would get those moments. And also, it happens in auditions as well. And you never know how to take that.
Look at this. Betrayed by my own fans here.
Yeah, that's a fucking
Ask
truth,
Gabe if he wouldn't do a love scene with Famke Janssen.
I wouldn't. I know you would.
I would not because my wife watches this show. How dare you?
I know.
I just don't see any getting around that. Like thinking of if my wife was an actress and seeing her kiss another man on screen, I couldn't do it.
A waitress flirted with me at Hash House a Go-Go in Las Vegas. My wife still remembers.
Hey, that place is delicious, by the way.
Dude, that is, there was a guy there, honestly, Hash House a Go-Go. I went for breakfast. Yeah. And then I went at 2:00 in the morning after the clubs because it was so good. They do that chicken with the knife through it. Oh,
I had the Bananas Foster pancakes.
Ooh,
That was the most ridiculous
They give
shit.
you a
ever.
pillow and a blanket for when you're done. So you can just
Yeah, they gave me a little vial of
Insulin?
insulin. On my way out.
So did you see the hubcap? They have a hubcap pancake, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that big.
Oh,
Yeah.
That place is off the hook. And
yeah,
by the way,
go.
yeah, there was I can't remember the guy's name now. I remembered it for years and years because the server was so great that we tipped him a ton of money because he was just fantastic. He was probably the best server I've ever had. He was amazing.
Wow. Think about what you think about. Is this a serious question? He said, "Do the actors actually have sex, or they sub
No.
someone in?"
No, they don't.
You're
Yeah, I don't
thinking
think they're
of,
like
you're-
banging each other. It's like
They
a
don't have
porno.
You're thinking of dirty movies. You're thinking of those. Yeah.
It's
Don't
different.
Well, in
movies.
those movies they do, but not in like the other movies.
Yeah.
So
You're not getting that. You're
no.
not getting that Daniel Day-Lewis about the role. You're not getting that into it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's hard. I mean, it's an awkward situation. You know what I mean?
So you get the
Oh,
real
man.
short, terse answers from your wife that week. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
fine.
No. Whatever.
And it's
whatever
hard to
you want do,
justify.
Matthew, whatever you want to do.
it is. It's just hard to justify. I mean, literally, I got married,
Oh,
and then so I had one day after that, and then the day after that, I was on a plane going to China, and the next day I was in bed with another woman on set.
what?
Oh,
And
hey,
it was
honey,
all-
I got an offer for a movie. It's called Frat House Boner Party. So I'll see you later.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, so because I was doing a film, and then I had to go back, get married, and then go back onto set, and it was definitely different. It was different, and I'm very good friends with the actress to this day, and she was definitely like very respectful.
Oof.
You know, like there was a different feel, but
Honey.
again, like I say, it's weird.
Honey, yeah, it's called Lady Banger Part 6, but I'm just going there, doing my craft, and I'm coming right back home.
You like this house?
Honestly,
yeah.
Lady Banger paid for this house.
Do you like this house?
You see that car on the drive?
Yeah.
That's Lady Banger 6, honey. That's Lady Banger 6 money.
And if you want to
Ooh-wee.
go on vacation, Lady Banger 7's coming.
Oh, man. Wow.
Who's the guy? He was in Band of Brothers. He has all white hair. He's a character actor. I think he's Irish because he has one of those big Irish heads. And he said he never does sex or love scenes.
Large
Neil
Irish head.
McDonough.
Yeah, he says these lips are for my wife only.
Yeah,
That's what he,
respect,
so he
dude.
said he chooses personally not to do
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting
wow.
guy.
it. Oh, was it Helen Mirren?
No.
Getting some of that.
Yeah,
vintage-
could you resist? How about that?
No,
Get
I mean,
real right
she's.
now.
Hey, I got to tell you something, guys. I was on Main Street. Gabe will know where this is. I don't know if you know where this is, Jericho. Main Street, Santa Monica.
Right.
And I turn around, and this like elegant older woman wearing like a sundress walks by, and I look, and it's Helen Mirren. And I go, that's Helen Mirren, because I went to the same college as her, and we both went to National Youth Theatre, obviously a few years apart. And my wife goes, "Oh my goodness me, she's beautiful," and
Did
she
you talk
just
to
got
her?
this. No, I didn't know. I mean, you know, I was shopping,
Oh, come on.
but she was just, you know, even if you were to see her and not know that she was Helen Mirren, you go,
Yeah, that's something. Did your wife have to go like this in front of your face?
no. I'll tell you what my wife did say though. She said, because this is the conversation with my wife, Jericho.
Oh, no.
She used to come back from LA and she'd be like, "Matt, I saw the actor. You know, the one with the wife." And I'll be
that
like,
guy.
Everybody knows that guy.
and she does that all the time. And I'll be like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And she'll be like, "That's the one." And I always get it. And so she came back once, I'll never forget. She came back once and she says, "I saw, you see if you guys, the girl, and she's married to the actor." And I was like, the Spanish one,
Oh,
Penelope
Cruz.
Cruz?
Penelope Cruz.
Right.
And she said she was standout gorgeous, like just absolutely beautiful. And she saw her
Pretty
in,
lady. Pretty lady.
I think it was Santa Monica again. Yeah, just walking with what's her name with the fella. Is
Yeah,
it
I mean-
Bardem?
like normal guys, we got to worry about our wife having a dream where we did
Oh.
something wrong. You got
Right.
you got real life, man. You got real documentation on you.
Oh yeah.
Damn it. Damn it. Yeah, that's amazing, man.
How would
I've
that
always
be?
wondered
Like,
about
what
that.
if, you know what I think too? This is even worse. You do a sex scene, not overly explicit, but like rated R, kind of PG-13 R, and then your kids grow up and see it.
Don't.
Oh,
I'm not thinking about that right now. Like,
oh.
wasn't
No.
me.
AI. It's AI, son. It's AI.
Wasn't me.
See, that
Bobby
right
Double.
there
Not
would
me.
make me. Did you say his name was Neil McDonough?
Neil McDonough.
That would make me like him. Like, I'm not doing those because my kids might see this movie one day.
Yeah, but
Oh,
you know what we were
man.
saying earlier on, you don't think like that, like depending on where you are in your life. Like I wish that
Yeah.
I had that wisdom back then.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because
You just hit your kids with, you like that college tuition? You like all this stuff?
But it's hard to say how difficult it is to have that kind of foresight. Because if you're not there in life, you're not
No.
there.
No.
If you don't have kids or a wife, it's not on your radar. It's not in your mind. So you just don't think about it. Like,
Right.
You might have your kids now and stuff, and there were things like you were married and you guys said, let's have kids. You didn't think about what it would be like, blah, blah. You just, here we are, we're ready, let's do it. And yeah, you don't.
Yeah, and I think that's why, one of the things that I talk about quite a bit is meeting people where they are, because I think that there's a lot of judgmental behavior going on, and not really understanding where people are. Like, some people say, well, why are you doing YouTube? Why are you doing it? Well, because you get across to a lot of people that don't necessarily hear the kinds of things that we want to talk about, right? And it dispels a lot of myths. If you're in your little echo chamber, who cares, right? Because everyone's thinking the same. But yeah, I mean, it's if you aren't changing with, even if it's incremental, right, with certain things that are pressing on you, that are affecting you, I don't understand that. I mean, you must be some kind of like monolithic rock that can't learn anything. I mean, even if it's, I try and learn something every day. And I think that a lot of people will look and go, like, one of the most ridiculous things to me is like, well, that politician didn't think that 20 years ago. I'm like, well, I can tell you there's a lot of stuff that I didn't think 20 years ago.
Thank God.
Right.
I mean,
Man. Well, and speaking of age, and we're all in our 40s. I think I'm the younger of the three, but we're all in our
definitely
40s.
not in my 40s.
Matt,
Oh yeah, that's right. You're in your 50s, barely.
Yeah.
51, right?
Still a
Or-
young
I'm
man.
51, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you find yourself when you're on set with younger actors that you're the elder statesman now? That you're like so far past them, and maybe not like an accomplishment wise, but just you're older. They're old enough to be. You're old enough to be their dad. I found myself being around young people, and I was just like, damn, am I that old?
Yeah.
Well, you don't feel it, do you? I mean, I certainly don't feel any different to when I was
Remember
28.
how old you thought a 51-year-old was when you were like 10?
Oh yeah.
You thought they were
Oh.
ancient,
Yeah.
But it is different now. I think that, I mean, we, for the most part, keep ourselves in better shape.
Right.
Mentally, we're a little bit, it's a little bit different now, I think. But what's been very strange for me is it's kind of like, as you get older, and I think as, like the Ed Sheeran song, when you what is it, when your hands don't work like they used to before, and you can't, whatever it is he says in that song, is that people start looking a little bit deeper than the external, like, the surface stuff. And I think that certainly for me, I found that when I'm walking on set, I get a lot of respect, like a lot of respect. And I think it's a combination of getting older, having the training that I had, doing the movies that I did that aren't around and will probably never get made ever again. And he puts you in this like kind of different bracket where people want to listen and they want to pick your brains and ask you about, doing this or that. You know what I mean? It's certainly been a shift. So I know when I'm going on set, you feel more of the heavyweight.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's certainly what I've felt.
Real quick, Vizinger, aka El Otaku, aka the Weeb Pillar. I keep telling him he's got to pick one of those names. They're all great. Just pick one. He would like to ask Matthew, our guest, if he considers starring in kaiju movies like indie kaiju. Kaiju, I'm not sure if you know, that's Godzilla, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
Do you like that? Are you a fan of those things?
Yeah. I love the genre movies. I think that what you're seeing now is, the genre fans especially are coming into their own. They have their own kind of like, not only their own groups, but you're seeing the actors that gravitate towards them because they respect each other, which is really nice to see in comparison to like the Disney movies. So I'd definitely do it. Of course, I'd like to read the material. I read the material, and if it's terrible, I don't want to do it. But if it's a good screenplay, I'll do it.
So,
if it's terrible and they're going to pay me a lot of money, I'll do it.
If you had to save the island from King Kong fighting Godzilla, fighting Mothra, fighting a giant Menzinger Z, but you'd have a gay kiss at the end of the movie, you're turning it down.
Yeah.
But they're going to pay you $50 million.
Not doing it.
Hell.
You think you think his wife doesn't like him kissing Helen Mirren? Wait till he's kissing Billy Joe Bob.
Yeah.
See how your wife looks at you after that.
That's one of those indecent proposal kind of things.
Yeah.
Like, we're offering you a huge payday and it's a ton of money and it's going to set your kids up. But at the end of the day, I hate when people use that. That's so overused. But at the end of the day, literally when you get home, you got the 50 million, but you got to live with that. You
had to kiss Godzilla.
Some dude. I'd rather
kiss
Godzilla than a
Judas
dude.
went to give the pieces of silver back, right? Like you don't want to be doing that. Look, I had it recently with, I know I can't say because of YouTube, but a certain thing that they said you have to do this to be able to do the job, and I said I'm not doing it. So I've already been there with a sizable amount of money, and I've done it pretty much all throughout my career. Not so explicitly, right? Necessarily, like in that particular case, but I've turned down stuff because it's been morally objectionable to me.
Yeah, hell no.
So and at the end of the day, your head can hit the pillow, and you're like, I'm cool with myself.
That's what matters. That's what matters, because it's like when people say, "Well, if you saw a $100 bill on the ground, would you turn it in or would you keep it?" And you say, "I would turn it in because nobody will know. I'll know. I know. I'll know that I did something wrong. I know that I did something immoral, and that's worse than what anybody else could ever think of me." Have you ever done a horror movie?
Yeah, Resident Evil, right?
I've done 3 actually. I did Resident Evil. If that can be classed as a horror movie. Anaconda's kind of classed as a horror movie. And I did, although it's a B movie, I don't know if it crosses over B and a horror movie. And then I did a movie called Tamara with Jenna Dewan, which was her first ever role. And that was written by Jeffrey Riddick, who wrote Final Destination. And I got a call. It's funny because they called me up. They were like, "Hey, we got this horror movie." And I'm like, I didn't really want to do a horror movie. And then they were like, "Oh, it's this guy, Jeremy Haft. He's great. It's written by Jeffrey Reddick." And I was like, okay, Jeremy Haft, sorry. And they said, "It's in Canada. Do you want to go do it?" And I was like, all right. So we went to Winnipeg, which is like going to the North Pole because it's so cold. And I had a great time doing that movie. But that was one of those, the first day on, I had to kiss Jenna Dewan. First day on set.
Poor guy. But I don't know. I think Resident Evil is an action movie. I know it has like
zombies.
Yeah, but I don't know. I always classify that as an action movie personally. Yeah, it's a tough day on set to lock lips with that unfortunate young lady right there.
Your wife hates this woman.
There's a voodoo doll under the bed with all kinds of pins in it. Have you ever done like a period piece, like a colonial
Ooh, I call
British,
those
the powdered,
Mussett movies.
the
Oh,
powdered
Mussett.
wig.
No,
kind of
no, I'd
movie.
like to do that. I'd like to do one like Dangerous Liaisons or something like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd
But
be
no,
real
I haven't
cool.
done that. No.
You have to brush up on your posh.
Oh,
You
Lord
know, hey,
Commander.
yeah, I'm cool with that.
Excuse
that
me, Mr. Jericho. It's funny that when this is one of the reasons why I just don't care about reviews anymore, because when I did Anacondas, firstly one of the reviews was like, there are no macaws in Borneo, and I was like,
my God.
there are no giant frigging snakes in the world that eat flowers that keep you alive forever either.
Yeah, shut up, you ass.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. But then they said Matthew Marsden's British accent is terrible. It's true.
It's the only one I have. What do you?
It's true.
I would say it's
That's so
terribly
stupid.
wonderful.
Tell that Matt Marsden guy to work on his British accent.
Well, I was like, okay, so my American accent must be great then.
Jeez. Of course, I never had a movie review, but I have had reviews in the comment section from my teachers on my report card. And I remember in 8th grade, my teacher, her name was Mrs. Dick. And so the first day of class, she goes, yes, my name is Mrs. Dick. And no, my husband's name isn't Harry. So don't ask. Because, of course, that's what our 8th grade minds, kids would always say that. Is your husband Harry?
Funny.
So she gives me an A+ in her class, and then she writes, student not performing up to potential. So I was like, you know what? I don't know what else to do about that. So, yeah, you're right, Matt. Reviews are bullshit. Bullshit.
Think about what you think about asks. What is one of your favorite horror movies, Matthew? Do you like horror? It's not my genre, but
we are in October.
We is.
Yeah, I think the greatest horror movie of all time is The Exorcist. I think it's the movie that terrifies me, which is because it's based on real life, right? It's meant to be based on real life. So yeah, I mean, I've kind of, because the world is so dark right now, I've kind of gone away from horror movies. I think when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of them. Because back in the day when you used to get them on VHS, it was like movies like The Burning and The Exterminator. And there's a movie that I really, really love. And I actually met the guy who wrote it once. I was doing ADR. I think it was because like on the 5th Resident Evil movie, I think it's the 4th or the 5th Resident Evil movie, I'm actually in that as well, but you don't see me. I do uncredited voice work on it. So if you listen to it, I'm on it, the opening scene. But I was doing this work and we just got talking about films, and I said, you know what, there's a movie I'd really love to remake, and not many people know about it. It's called The Wraith. And this guy goes, and this guy goes, I wrote that. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, that was my movie. And I'm like, I want the rights to it because I want to remake that movie because it was so cool. I remember back in the day, Charlie Sheen and that, was it The Interceptor, the car, which was just super cool. So yeah, that was good. And by the way, Lost Boys is a great horror movie as well. Lost Boys.
I found out last year because we watch it every year. It's one of my wife's favorite movies, even though she's too damn scared to watch it. But I found out that was a rated R movie. I thought it was PG-13 all these years. Lost Boys is rated R. And you go back to some of the scenes. Yeah. I mean, the bathtub scene and, some of the vampire scenes. Yeah, I guess so. Like the scene where they kill those kids on the beach. But it's not crazy gory.
They do use the F word a bit, and it's 1987. They were very strict about the F word, right? Do you know, Matthew, is there a rule like you could say it 5 times and then it's like rated R? Is there something like that? Or is that?
Yeah, there is now. Yeah. They do kind of allow you like one shit and one fuck or whatever it is. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what the metric is for it, but yeah, there is a certain amount. It's like when we did Rambo, and Stallone was like, they are never going to let me put any of this violence in. So I'm just going to leave it all in when it goes to the MPAA. They passed it.
They sure did.
Okay.
That was one of the more violent movies I'd ever seen up until that point.
When he guts that dude at the end, insane.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. But he earned, I love that movie.
That guy earned every bit of that.
yeah, the bad guys were just unspeakable. They were just horrific, horrible, subhuman pieces of garbage. So when they all got the 50 cal or
Right.
that homemade machete in the gut, man, they earned it. Those guys were pieces.
So you know
of
that
shit.
guy, I don't know if I told you that when we spoke about Rambo, but that guy, his family had been killed by the Burmese. So he was Burmese, but he hated the Burmese junta. So he put all the hate that he had for them and what they'd done to his people into that role.
Damn,
And he's
well,
great. He's
It
great in
came,
the
it came
role.
through. It came through.
Yeah.
Even that scene where he was, where they had caught they caught the team, and they had them all lined up, and they're beating the shit out of the guy who was the SAS dickhead, and he
Mhm.
stepped on that landmine and stuff, and like, yeah, he was hitting him with the stick and all that, and then the gross scene with the young man at the camp. I mean, yeah, that dude was just he got all up in that role. If he didn't get some kind of award, he deserves it because
Oh,
he
speaking
seemed
of
like
all
a
this, I forgot to
demon.
tell you guys. A comic book I worked on like 2 years ago finally shipped. Indie comics are notorious for being late, but this is a great honor of mine. I'll show you guys what this is and why I feel so happy to have done this. This is First Kill, story by Stallone, written by Chuck Dixon, one of the great like Batman writers and all that. But look at, you have Sylvester Stallone's name right there. And look at my name right here, one of the artists.
Yes.
So I like you. So Jericho, you are supremely lame right now because me and Matthew have worked with Sly. That's what his friends call him. You're the only dude here that has not actually worked with Sly on a project. So,
Well, actually, I work with him, but it's so hush hush that I can't even
Super secret.
I can't even talk about it. Yeah, you
is that
guys can talk
Expendables
about it.
5? Is that what you're talking? Expendables
5.5, but
Oh,
I don't even. I can't. I've already said too much. I've already breached our agreement, so I can't right now. But just know
Okay.
that we're buddies.
Okay.
We're
Congratulations, though, Gabe. That's
Thanks,
pretty
man.
awesome.
That's
Yeah, it's
the
real cool.
magic of comics that I love. You make something fun and nice, and then you get to work with one of your heroes. Like it's so
Yeah.
cool to me to put Dean Cain's name on a book, or now have a book with Sly Stallone, or to work on comic books with my favorite artists from when I was 13, and then I'm like coloring their stuff or working with them. That's mind blowing to me. I'll show you one other thing. It's right behind me. Hold on.
Yeah, it's crazy when you get around people that you've been fans of, and you have those. I've literally had moments where I will mouth the words, "Oh shit,
Right,
this is happening." Crazy. Yeah.
right.
Crazy.
Let's see. It'll take me a minute to open it. So go ahead, gentlemen. I got to go dig it out of my hard drive here, but I want to show you this too, just as another.
Who was? I remember. I think you said Michael Caine was definitely somebody that
Right.
you were a huge fan of growing up. I think anybody who's a fan of movies would be a fan of his. But to be, elbow to elbow with that guy, is there anybody else in your career that you've, you're like a duck on the surface? Hey, no big deal. Nice to meet you, man. Pleasure to work with you. Pleasure to meet you. I do this all the time, but on underneath, you're just like, oh, other than Helen Mirren, who you didn't say hi to, but has there been anybody else where you're just like, oh shit, I'm hanging out with, or I'm at a premiere with, or I'm at a table with?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when I worked with Ridley, because when we were doing when we did Black Hawk Down, and I was in I can't remember if it was the first day or the second day of shooting, because we didn't know whether we were going to get Black Hawks on that movie or not. So it was like the second day, second scene, if I remember correctly. And I walk in, and it's this like giant set and I'd done television and I'd done 1 or 2 movies before that, like in England, but it was nothing like this. And, we'd gone through the training and this is it, right? Like I'm up and I look across and there's like Ridley and Jerry Bruckheimer. And I'm like, what is going on in my life right now? Like, this is what I've dreamt about my whole life. And the first scene was with Ewan McGregor. And so,
No big
yeah.
deal.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, this is no joke, guys. Honestly, I sit down and Ridley comes up and he's got his cigar and he's like, "Okay, right, we're gonna wait, and there's gonna be a helicopter. It's gonna go past the window behind you, Matt, and then you're gonna say your line. Okay, right." And he walks off, and I'm like, because I've got to get the timing right, and all he's thinking about is a visual, and I'm thinking, don't mess up your lines, like don't get it wrong. And in the end, you don't see it. I think you can hear it in the scene, but you don't see it. But that was we were like on the first floor, right? Like there's a ground floor first, because in England we do it different, ground floor, first floor, right? So first floor, and the helicopter was flying past like that. So it was super low. And you're sitting there going, don't mess it up. So I think that with Ridley and him coming over and talking to me and giving me, right, it was great, mate. Do it again. And then we do the scene again. That was kind of like a little bit trippy. I can still remember sitting there and seeing you and doing the thing, pushing the coffee down. So that was a little bit weird. And of course, it's a little bit of an out of body experience working with Stallone, because it's not like he walks up and he's playing one of his, a character you don't know. Like, that's Rambo.
Mm-hmm. So
that was kind of an interesting moment because he was directing us as well. So yeah, there's been a couple of moments where you go, what is going on in my life?
That's wild, man.
You know what I mean?
I never told you, but I thought you was great in Rambo.
I don't know if I ever told you, kid. I worked at a radio station, and one of my moments where I met somebody that, as a kid, this was everything. This dude was larger than life. Cartoon, merchandise, movies. You see him on TV every week. It was Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
He came in. Dude, he walked through the door, and it was when he was filming that reality show, Hogan Knows Best, like in 2008 or something, 2007, 8. His daughter had a little album out, so he's on the promotional tour with her. And so, of course, the week leading up to that, the whole building is just a buzz. Like, oh, Hulk Hogan, I can't believe Hulk Hogan's coming. People are bringing old album covers and jackets and toys and posters and all these things, books for him to sign. And everybody, even the seasoned people who had met, you name the biggest stars, even they were like, oh shit, Hulk Hogan's coming through. And he comes in and the door opens, and I was the first one standing there, and he looks at me and he goes, hey, where's the bathroom, brother? Just like he did on TV. I was like, oh shit. So I'm walking down the hallway, and it's just us.
He said, wow, will you help me shake it off when I'm done, brother?
Shake it for me, brother. So we're walking down the hallway, and I'm walking, and Hulk Hogan's walking behind me. I'm showing him where the bathroom is. I couldn't believe it. So I get to the door, and of course, whatever you are in that moment, it's going to shine. So me, I know what funny is. And if I have a moment to be funny, it doesn't matter how big the moment is or whatever, I got to get that joke. I have to. It doesn't matter what happens to me, what trouble I get in, what people think of me. If there's a laugh, I'm going to get it. So we're rounding the corner, and I open the bathroom door, and he walks in. I said, I'll leave you here, Hulk. And he's like, yeah, thanks, brother. I was like, yeah, I think you can handle it from here. I'm not shaking that thing. But that was pretty cool, man. I called my brother after that, and I was like, dude, I just met the Hulkster. Because every Saturday, WWF, we're doing the moves, jumping off the couch. My brother's older than me, so he's doing the moves on me. No Holds Barred, when that came out, that was everything. Turned out to be one of the worst movies ever filmed.
We love that movie, though. We do love it.
9-year-old Jericho, that movie was Oscar worthy. So meeting Hulk Hogan was fucking crazy. And he would turn out to be a great dude. Great, stayed late, shook everybody's hand, made everybody feel like that was the first fan he had ever met. Great dude.
That's awesome. I just wanted to show you guys this. In 1991, I saw this exact comic book at my friend Sean's house. And I always loved to draw. I liked superheroes, but I had no money when I was young, and I didn't buy comic books. I saw this cover, and the Beast from the X-Men, the blue guy there, leaping that rock with one hand. That drawing of the Beast made me decide to draw comic books. This is why I do what I do, this exact drawing here. Mm-hmm. I've seen this cover in real life. The inker Scott Williams, like this sheet I have here, he showed me the real paper version of it. But I decided, because of this image, what is this? I started buying comic books that week. I'm 13 years old. And that's my favorite artist in comics, Jim Lee. Like, it just blew my mind when I saw this. I couldn't believe it. Just the dynamicism. It's so exciting. Well, here's me coloring his work, 20-something years later.
Come on.
And he is the one who personally hired me, by the way. He handpicked me to work for his company. And he was the one that made me want to do this for a living. So that is like a highlight of my career. I got to do Justice League with Jim Lee. right? Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Batman.
Yeah, it's like Take Me Now. I've
another
reached the
one-
mountaintop.
Another one from when I was the same age, 12, 13, is Dale Keown. He still draws. Look at this. He's an absolute genius at drawing, right? And I colored this for him. It was a cover to a supernatural horror Western comic book, but they also didn't just print it as a comic. They printed it as a t-shirt. So like this, like the 12, 13-year-old me is just like, I've never worn this. I don't want to wear it because I don't want to wash it because I don't want to fade the image on it. But like stuff like that, guys, where you have a hero when you're a kid and then like you're their peer. It's such a weird experience.
So
you can't explain it.
Jericho, when you have a lot of downtime when you're on set, and when we were doing Rambo, I asked because he would tell us a bunch of stories about like when he got hit by Dolph Lundgren. He told us that story. I don't know if you know about that, but he was like, make it look real, and Dolph just went wallop.
And he's a big dude.
Yeah, and that he had to be medevaced out, like Stallone had to be taken to hospital. And he'd ruptured his pericardiac, something to do with his heart, and it was really bad. Like, but I said to him, "Who out of all of the people that you worked with was the strongest? Like, who's the person that you feared the most?" And he said, "Hulk Hogan."
Oh yeah, because
he threw his ass out
Thunder Lips. Yeah, he picked him up and he tossed him.
He said
he was hitting him.
Yeah, he said he just did it. That he said and he picked him up. So I do have one more story. Actually, I will say that I was starstruck, but it's not movies, it's music, because I had a recording career, right? And
oh yeah, I forgot about your recording career and your modeling career. Sorry about that, man.
Oh yeah, we forgot all about that. How you plucked off the street to model at like 16.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So anyway, I get invited down to the south of England. There was a conference that Sony Music were putting on, and they had a lot of their, because Sony incorporated Epic Records and Columbia Records, who I was signed to, and they were having everyone around like kind of a mixer. And
is this the P. Diddy story you were telling me?
Keep it in your pants, Heather.
I said, is this the P. Diddy story you were telling me the other day?
Go on.
Not that one. So anyway, I'm standing there and I'm talking, I'm doing my thing, and George Michael comes in, and I was a huge George Michael fan, right? Just huge George Michael fan, and he'd just fallen out with Sony, right? So he'd come to that agreement where they said, you know what, we're going to do, like, ladies and gentlemen, introducing George Michael's greatest hits. And so I'm like, that's George Michael, right? Like, oh my goodness me. And I was standing, I was wearing some brand new white sneakers, right? Like brand new white sneakers. And George Michael walks in and he's meeting everyone. He's dressed absolutely immaculately in a 3-piece suit. I can tell you exactly what it was because I remember it was a blue checkered, like, with the pinstripe suit and a red tie, and he was wearing red shoes, right? That's what I remember. They were red shoes, and he was little. He was very small, and
really,
it was small, and he came over to me and he went, "Hey, Matt," and I was like,
"What the fuck?"
Like he knew who I was.
Didn't you tell me he stomped on your shoe to scuff it?
Then he stomped on my shoes, yeah.
Right.
Then he stomped on my shoes.
Right.
He tried on my shoes and he went, "New shoes, bap, bap." And he put his footprint on my shoes and then disappeared. I was like, and you know what, Jericho? I've forgotten about that story until about 6 years ago. And a friend of mine went, "Do you remember when George Michael tried on your shoes?" And I was like, "That's right, he did, didn't he?" So
did he take him?
No, he just tried on them because is that something that Americans do as well? Like if you see nice new.
I remember when you told me the story. It was when I was with you in Santa Monica with my wife, and you said that's a thing in England. If you have nice white shoes, your friend scuffs them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have a story similar to that. So another person, it was somebody I was a fan of, I respected what they did, but I wasn't like a huge fan of them personally. But again, at the radio station, we used to do this club every Friday night in downtown San Jose So if you ever want to sit back and watch 20-something people get drunk and do stupid shit, and get arrested, that's the place to go. It was like Club Row, just on both sides of the street, all the way down. All these clubs, the girls, all that shit. So it's called Club Zoe, and KRS-One was performing it one night. And I was a fan. I was a fan through my brother. My brother was a huge fan, so I was a fan because my brother was a fan. So he does the concert, great concert. I mean, fucking great show. He's walking out, and I wanted to say what's up to him, not only because he's KRS-One, but I wanted to tell my brother, hey, I met KRS-One. So 2 days before, I'm at the flea market, and I see these mostly white with a little bit of blue Derek Jeter Air Jordans. They looked clean. It was almost like a baseball kind of design to it. The toe was white, blue accents. These things were hard as fuck. I was like, oh, I gotta have them. So I get my outfit together. I'm looking good. I'm looking cleaner than the Board of Health. And so I get there. Here comes KRS-One off stage, saying what's up to people. He's headed right toward me. Hey, KRS, great show, man. You know the half handshake, half hug. You go in, and he goes in, and he stepped and put the biggest black smudge on the toe of my Jordan. I was like, you motherfucker. But it's KRS-One, so I was like, hey, act like nothing happened. Hey, thanks, man. I turn around, fuck, and it never came out. I tried to wash it out. It never came out. But that's my shoe scuffing story.
None the Miser says he saw R2D2 open up for KRS-One.
No. Wrong KRS-One.
That's funny.
Real quick, None the Miser. I like. It's not bragging if it's true, but he did say about me earlier. Dolph's a big guy, but Gabe is bigger. That's right.
Yep.
That's
and
right.
And he has multiple black belts. So I'm sure when he hit Sylvester, he knew, not like he was trying to hurt him, but he knows what he's doing when he throws a punch.
He was probably taller than me at one point, because in this photo, I'm 40 and he's probably 60, right? So people shrink a little bit as they age. And we're almost the same. I think I got him by a little bit of hair there.
Did you see him in his In View to a Kill? Because he used to date Grace Jones. Yeah, he dated Grace Jones. So there's a scene. Hey, Gabe, come on. Let's see you sleuthing right now on the internet. I don't know if you can put that up, but it's a scene where they're at the horse racing, and it's Chris is there. So Walken's there. I think Walken's there, but it's Grace Jones is there, and he plays a bodyguard, and he's in it like that. Boom. But what was interesting is, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and it looks like Christopher Walken's here.
Young dog
video.
Everybody's young in that movie, shit, except for Roger Moore.
Damn. I'll tell you, Matthew, we were talking about meeting Hollywood people, and they're nice. This guy, of all the Hollywood people that I don't know, like I know you, one of the nicest guys I ever met. This was the Aquaman movie premiere, the end of 2018. I was one of the artists on the Aquaman book, so I got invited to go up to Mann's Chinese Theater. It was a great experience. And I see him from 30 feet away, and I'm like, dude, Rocky and all the stuff.
You got to say
go up to him, and he's like my uncle, like the nicest guy ever. We talk, for 5 minutes or whatever. But then I go around, milling around the party, meeting other people, having eaten, drinking, whatever with my wife. And then I'm walking around later, and I hear someone go, "Hey, my man!" And it's him calling me to come back and talk to him again. And then we just talked again about stuff. But he was probably one of the nicest dudes, completely, he doesn't know he's Dolph Lundgren. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was just super, super nice. I don't know. He was very friendly to me.
I bet he has some crazy ass Grace Jones stories.
Oh, can you imagine?
Because for those of you who don't know who Grace Jones is, she was in one or two of the Conan movies.
Right.
Can't remember which one. But yeah, was she an actress? She was a model. Singer.
She was a model initially.
Yeah. Okay. That's where she got her start. Grace Jones, but she was fucking wild.
She was wild when people weren't necessarily like that wild.
Dude, she was like the female version of Mike Tyson in the 80s, just unpredictable, wild. I'm sure it took somebody like Dolph Lundgren, built like that, to handle Grace Jones. I bet she was just a wild motherfucker.
Well, that's a good analogy actually, or a comparison to Mike Tyson.
Yeah, because Tyson in the 80s,
she was hitting people, right? She was like,
she was crazy. Not this, subdued grandpa Tyson that we have now. Tyson was he hit regular people. I remember he punched a cameraman So like nobody was safe. It wasn't because I'm Mike Tyson. These are registered lethal weapons. I can't kick your ass because you're a civilian. No, he probably would. And there was an air of fear around Mike Tyson. And I think maybe to a lesser extent, because Grace Jones wasn't known for knocking people out, but she was a wild card, man, for real. And she was in a Boomerang in 1992 with Eddie Murphy. I was like,
she?
whoa. Oh, yeah. And she had a song on the soundtrack. She was like a for real musician too, like artist.
Pull Up to the Bumper is a great track, actually. Like it's a good tune.
But she was wild, man.
I remember watching Boomerang, and I'm like, who is that girl? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? I was like,
1992. Come on. I
Halle
was 12
Berry.
years old, not
I was
knowing
like,
what to do.
Who is that?
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Because it was
And
Robin Givens, right? Robin Givens is in that as well.
Yeah.
But
Robin Givens, right off the heels of Mike Tyson.
Halle Berry.
I bet she has some stories to tell.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah,
man.
Now my wife watches this show, and in the past, she accused me of thinking Halle Berry was very, very pretty. I'll say she's easy on the eyes. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not going to get kicked out of the bed for eating crackers. That's for sure. But I don't know how she's more beautiful now, 30 years after that.
It's unbelievable.
I don't know what happened.
She's actually more beautiful now, without a shadow of a doubt.
Hold on. Someone in the audience has a question for me. Question for the hot guy. Did you ever work with
what do you need?
anyone you absolutely...
Oh, I'm sorry. That's probably you, man.
I think she's talking to the guy who was the model at 16 years old. Matthew, there's a question from one of the audience members. Did you ever work with anyone you absolutely hated?
Ooh.
Should you tell this story? This might not be good.
No.
No.
You never wanted to smack somebody in the mouth on set. Because maybe that's not all the way to hate, but it's on the way. It's hate adjacent.
No. No, I haven't. Not really. I've been in some kind of like funny situations, but you know, you guys know, like I'm a big guy as well, so people tend to be okay around me. You know what I mean? They don't play up much. I mean,
yeah, Matthew, you're about my height when we met.
Mm-hmm.
We're about the same. And tell me if this has been your experience. It's like being a brontosaurus. You're so big, nobody messes with you. I've only been in a handful of fights in my life, never lost. But you're so big, people look at you and go, maybe he could fight, maybe he can't fight, but holy shit, if he can fight, this thing's over. So people don't want to fight.
Be a problem.
Huge, you know.
Yeah, I think when you're a big guy, a lot of the time you don't really realize like how big you are until you see yourself like pictured up against someone else.
Right.
And so I've been certainly on set. People have left me alone. I've had to deal with coming to mind, maybe 2 assholes in my career, really, like serious assholes. And one, this is no joke. I'm not going to say who it is, but I was the lead in the film, and the producers came up to me and they were like, Matt, got a bit of a problem. And I was like, what's up? And they were like, so measured your trailer. This is not a joke. This is not a joke, right? And your trailer is bigger than his, and he's going to walk off set if he doesn't have your trailer.
And you didn't want to smack the shit out of that guy?
I was just like, I'm on set all day anyway. I never go back to the trailer. I don't care. And so I said, give him my trailer. And then when I came back to see where the trailers were, this is not a joke, right? This is no joke. So let's just say, let me see if you can see it. Like there's the trailer there like that, right? Trailer there like that. And there's a trailer there like actually I'll do it this way, like that, right? And in between was craft services, right? He'd insisted on my trailer moving closer, which is now his trailer, moving closer to craft service. So he made them move the entire trailer. Guys, I can't tell you what a giant pain in the ass this is, because they have
to get all the tow truck or whatever to move.
You got all kinds of shit in there
just to move it closer to the craft service.
But like what?
Is like
10 feet, 5 feet?
Maybe 5 feet.
That's
what a douche.
Step and a half.
What a douche.
And I was like,
here you go. Wait, Matthew, I'd say we're the same height. This was at your movie premiere in June. So,
Oh, there you go.
yeah, I got a beautiful wife.
What up?
You do have a beautiful.
What's up,
and she's
Adrian?
lovely as well.
How'd I do that?
And she's
prettier than
a
Cindy
great
Crawford
wife.
and Haley Berry and Famke Jensen. I have to say that contractually.
Yeah, she's a great wife, man. I mentioned this when we came back from Comic-Con, the way she was just making shit work, behind the scenes, making sure this was there, that was there. Do I have this? Yep, I got it. Boom, I grabbed it. Like, she was on it. Adrian, she's awesome.
She's the greatest wife a man could have. Doesn't nag me. No fighting. No.
Yeah, none of that, dude. I've been not as long as you guys. You guys are in the 20s. I'm coming up on year 16, but like I still think about my wife and I'll laugh. Like I still want to come home. We still have fun.
You don't sit in the driveway for an hour just going
doing laps around the neighborhood. No. But we still like play fight and shit like that. I never let her win. Never.
Never.
Not even close. We talked to she called me today. She called me twice. I picked up the phone. I was like, "What do you want, you psycho?" She's like, "Oh, I just wondering when you're coming home." It's just that that's the kind of relationship you need. Just that playful, loving relationship. But Matt, yes, it's called Double Impact, and we talk about movies, blah blah blah, whatever. But this is mainly a food-based
channel
show. So speaking of craft services, best craft services you've ever had.
Oh, most definitely when I did Transformers.
Like what does craft services look like for a big budget Michael Bay film?
So it would be like probably about as big as a FedEx van that would have everything in it, like everything. So what they do is that they'll like when we did Transformers and we were out in the desert, you go in, they would have like Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Like they'd have like, like when you go into a 7-Eleven and you want to, open the things and the refrigerators or freezers are down, they'd have like 2 of those absolutely full with everything that you wanted. I remember looking up and there was just like chocolate bars and chips and everything on the walls. Some of them had beer in them. And then when you're outside, they have these giant tanks of coffee. So if you want a coffee, you don't even have to go inside. So they have absolutely everything. I mean, it was spectacular. And it really sticks in my mind going there. Because here's the thing. When I did that film, I was sitting out with a bunch of Navy SEALs. And my buddy, who actually went on to do, oh my God, Joel Lambert, who went on to do his own survival show. He was sitting there eating a sandwich. And I went, "What's that?" He went, "PB&J, baby." And I went, "I've never had that."
What?
And dude, they all went, "That
British
was real."
people
They all went,
don't know.
"What?" And I went, "No." They went, oh. There's all these big Navy SEALs. "You've got to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right now." And so I went over to craft service and they made me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was like
yeah, like everybody just wants to see.
They want to see the
reaction.
They wanted him to eat that crunchy.
Gabe, get that shit out of here.
The crunchy, not the creamy, right?
Get your Section 8 mouth out of here.
Oh, yeah,
Listen,
crunchy.
Jericho,
I'm not going to listen.
Jericho,
I'm not
I'll be
gonna
nice, but I'm your friend, so I can tell you this. Once you level up like me and Matthew and you work with Sly, then you'll understand why crunchy.
They don't have an appreciation for the finer things in life.
Right. Wait. Do you think Rambo eats creamy peanut butter like a toddler?
If he's a real man.
No.
Hey, so have you guys had Justin? Like the Justin
the little packs of nut butter.
Oh,
delicious.
Nut butter. Where does that come from?
All kinds of nuts.
Like, are they like wringing it out of some dude's ding dong or what?
No, it's almond, macadamia.
Okay.
It's all nuts, nut butter. Probably the greatest nut butter in the world.
They're eating the nuts.
People say
they're eating the nuts.
They're eating the nut butter. It's not good. It's not good.
Mm-mm.
Not good, people.
But see, Jericho, Matthew's on your side when it comes to seafood, which I detest.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
We could share it.
Yeah, because there's another issue with your inner mouth. It's all fucked up.
My
because
perfect mouth?
seafood is delish.
No.
Love seafood. Love it. What'd you think of your first PB&J, Matt?
It was all that they made it out to be. I thought it was fantastic. And I never used to have peanut butter. And after I had peanut butter and jelly, I started having peanut butter.
Yeah, it's
So
thank you, Heather. Heather's right.
No, sorry, Jericho. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't know what the equivalent would be in England to like what is something that if you are from England, it doesn't matter what part, it doesn't matter what your social status is, you grew up eating this. That's what peanut butter and jelly is.
Because peanut butter and jelly, Matthew, you probably know this. It's school lunch food for kids. Your mom packs you one for lunch. So, what's the equivalent? What's the
what
British
would be like
equivalent?
the
Mushy peas and eel for lunch again, Mom.
Boiled eel or something?
I wouldn't say like what you have as kids, maybe, but I'd say beans on toast.
Matt.
It might be good, but it looks bad.
It's good. It is good.
Matt, I brought you PB&J, and your answer to that was beans and toast. Did you guys grow up on a chuck wagon in 1884?
God blimey, yeah, I gotta go up there and I gotta clean that chimney.
Like
see, look at that. Look at that.
Yes, I am. And I'm horrified by that.
That looks dreadful.
There's no situation in America where that combination takes place.
You got to try it. You got to try it, and you got to come back and you got to tell me what you think.
It's just like if you ran out of groceries and you have nothing left to eat, you would eat this in America. Like
if there's nothing left, like you had to fight the rat in the cabinet for that last can of beans and that last piece of bread.
This dish makes no sense because there's no sour.
Hey, listen, do you know what's worse? Honestly, we used to have this as well because, I come from a very poor background.
There's something worse than this.
Chips sandwich.
I'm down with a chip sandwich. Throw a little tuna on that bad boy, maybe a little ham. Or you're saying just chips?
Just chips in a sandwich. Like Doritos sandwich. It's like a carb overload.
That sounds amazing.
There you go. Look at that.
That looks amazing compared to fucking Van Camp's baked beans on a piece of toast. Holy hell. Peanut butter and syrup on waffles change your life. Definitely do that.
You put peanut butter in cereal or peanut butter on ice cream. Holy shit.
I'm sorry. What's that, Gabe? Peanut butter where? What's the first thing you said?
On
cereal? On cereal?
Put it on cereal, but you have to add milk to kind of stir it up. It's good.
Ew, what the fuck?
There's peanut butter flavored cereals.
Yes, but not peanut butter on your cereal.
Pork baguettes? What is that?
No, he's not saying baguettes. He's saying misspelling the
gay pigs.
He's saying
is that what a gay pig is? A pork baguette?
It's meant to be an F to that.
Oink,
oink. That up, actually. There you go.
Oink, oink.
Mr. Brains is a baguette. Is that a meatball? Is that all that is?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a meatball with the.
You're damn right, it's a meatball. Holy hell!
How many of these pork baguettes can you fit in your mouth at once?
That is, you know what? The truth is I've never had one. I've never had
Holy
one,
shit.
And I never ate beans on toast.
I'm done.
That's the truth. I didn't like beans. I don't mind them now. American beans are a lot better. The barbecue beans.
Woo! We're in Texas. That's barbecue bean country.
Hey, look up this, Gabe. Did we do this blood pudding last time?
Oh God!
Come on now.
Aye. This
is so bad. It's sausage made of like blood and oat.
It's sausage made of blood and fat. And it's really good.
That's so gross.
Wait a minute.
Well, here's the British breakfast, right?
Oh, look at that.
That look good.
There it is.
That's what you want to eat.
Why so many meats?
I'm not.
Everything's on there.
Do you know? I used to tell people about haggis. You know what haggis is?
Yeah.
It's stomach with oats and spices and onions.
All stuffed in. I used to tell people it was an animal, and that it could only run around. It was grown. It was found on a mountain, and it had two legs that were shorter than the other, so it could run really fast around the mountain. And you'd see people like look at me like, so you guys don't know when you're on set, you have a boom mic.
Uh-huh.
You know, the boom mic that they put
Right.
in that you see, it's the big long thing. I used to tell the boom operator, do you know what you got that? The cover for the boom mic, it's made out of a haggis. That's a haggis skin. And they'll be like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's haggis skin. And then I'll tell them how it had a shorter leg so it could run around a mountain.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
But can we bring that plate of nonsense back up?
Sure.
Am I seeing mushrooms and tomato?
Oh,
on
yeah.
there?
That's weird.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, come on. What's
No,
that
no,
thing
no,
up in
no,
there?
no.
What's that thing in the corner by the eggs? Is that
It's
a
like
meat?
a piece of bread.
That
Is
is
that what that
a piece of fried bread. So what you have there is you got to the right, you got fried bread, and then you've got that is actually English bacon next to
Right.
it,
Ham.
and then below it that's blood pudding, or as we call it, black pudding because it's black.
Hey, I'm right
Yeah.
here.
And
Oh,
you're
the
like,
pudding.
hey,
That's what
And then-
they call Jericho in high
African
school,
American
black
pudding.
pudding.
It's African American pudding.
that should be your rap name. Hi, I'm black pudding.
Black pudding.
Yeah.
Black
You know where I'm
pudding.
putting this? Mm.
And then 2 sausages.
And you're just gonna skip over the mushrooms and tomatoes and beans.
That is not a problem for me.
That's the biggest problem, Matt.
It's
This
fried
looks like a-
tomatoes and fried fried
You ever-
tomatoes and fried
Have you ever seen Grandma's Boy? That movie.
No.
There's a scene where he comes home high and he just dumps like 6 different things on a plate to heat it up. I mean, spaghetti and waffles and just crazy shit. That's what that plate looks like. It looks like somebody who was stoned. Put that.
No, you got one right there. You just went past it, right? There's a picture of one there. There, see you go, right there.
Oh, come on. Man.
It's the fish and the chips.
All right,
that's
yeah,
fish
some
and
fried
chips.
fish. I'm
No,
down with
next
that.
to that.
The full Monty.
Yeah, that's it.
This is where I went and ate. Now, Matthew, being from England, is this authentic? Because everything is wood. It smells like beer's been spilled everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's dark. Everything is dark brown. And
Yes.
Food is really good.
Yeah.
You know, really
told
just
you.
So what, is that what you call? Is that what that breakfast is called? The full Monty? Is that like you go?
It's called
the
full
UK
English
order?
breakfast or an English breakfast.
I think that's just this restaurant calling it that.
I don't know, man. How does such a good person come from a nightmare culinary background? Like, that?
Hey, listen,
I
wait
get
till
it.
you get into like things like pig's trotters. You
Are
don't know.
those just feet? Trotters?
pig
Pig's
feet?
feet, yeah.
Oh, they have that in the South. Black folks are.
Do they
known
really?
for- oh yeah, pickled pig's feet. I'm probably you haven't seen that in Texas. Big old like 2-gallon jars full of pickled pig's feet. Yeah, that's a big deal.
You ever seen a toast sandwich? It's
Is
literally
that
a
is
sandwich.
never a
It's-
toast
it's
sandwich.
3 pieces of bread. So 3 pieces of bread. Is that what you're saying?
This is a real thing. I'm not even kidding.
Hey, I'll
Holy
tell you what
hell.
is really good. I'll tell you what is really good is a fried
Ugh.
Mars bar.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm down for that.
That is really good.
I've had a deep fried Twinkie at a fair. That was good. And a
Oh yeah,
deep fried
because
Oreo.
don't they deep fry everything at like the Texas State
Everything.
Fair and stuff?
Right.
They
You
just-
can get at
everything.
Texas State Fair. You can get a deep fried stick of butter. How about that?
That's
Eat
really
that in the
good.
Texas heat.
I bet it's
So-
really good though.
Here's your
It
fried
probably is.
lollipop.
There you go.
It probably is.
Hey. I like
So basically, Matt, what you were saying is on in the presence of a really good craft service, you could put on some pounds on a movie.
Oh
set
yeah.
if you were
Oh,
so
yeah.
inclined.
And it's always there. Do you know what's funny though? I'll tell you this. I did a movie in France, and so firstly, their food is insane. But what would happen was you'd be on set, right? And you'd be in the middle of says because he just says there they eat Chinese food in Lost Boys. They're just noodles, David.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But you know what they do? Like 11 o'clock, or well, it'd be like 10 o'clock. Everyone would just stop work, and even if you're in the middle of a scene, they just stop.
In the
And I'm like,
morning?
what are they doing? Yeah, and it's break, and so they would come around and they would bring you a cup of coffee and some chocolate, and then we'll get back on with the film. And then it would go to like lunchtime. They break, and you could have an average of well, I say an average. Each table that you would have at lunch, there'd be 2 bottles of red wine on it.
Damn.
And I'm like, what are you doing? We're doing a movie. And it is okay. And later on, I will have an affair.
No, hey, wait, with who?
There's
And
nothing
then I
else
will
else.
surrender
It
to
is.
anyone who points a gun at me.
Damn.
Guys, if you're enjoying the show and our great guest Matthew, follow this link. This is the link to his channel and subscribe. I think he's about to cross 10,000, or did you?
I'm
just cross?
past it. I'm past
Oh,
it.
there you go. There you go, guys.
Subscribe.
And follow him on Twitter, X, and everywhere. You're just Matthew Marsden, right? You're not Matthew
Matthew
Marsden.
D. Marsden.
Matthew D. Marsden. There you
Yeah.
go. But
I'm
yeah,
D.
definitely,
Marsden.
definitely subscribe. Everyone watching, subscribe right now. I will stop this bus. I will stop this car and turn it around if you do not subscribe right
That's
now.
right. Matthew D. Marsden, not to be confused with Matthew C. Marsden. He's a
Right.
piece
Yeah,
of
that
shit.
guy's such a loser.
That guy's a piece of shit. Matthew D. Marsden, that's where you want to go. Don't
Goodness.
trust that other son of a bitch.
Well, we did not get to the Lost Boys at all, so I
Not
guess
at all. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with
yeah,
it.
it's totally fine with me. Yeah, I'd always would rather have a great guest on.
We can always revisit or visit next week.
Right. Yeah,
We'll
we'll
do it
definitely
next
we'll have to do the Lost Boys next week, but don't worry, boys and girls. I never saw this movie before last night, and I absolutely loved it. I did not know what to expect. I had done the comic book in 2008. I was one of the artists for the comic book. Never watched it, and I thought it was fantastic. My wife had seen it when she was younger. So.
Oh yeah, and it was filmed at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, which was about half an hour from where I grew up. But it was in California, as you guys know, you got to have a car. We don't have any public transit to speak of.
We don't ride the tube on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, isn't it? But that was like the summer spot, the eighth grade trip. All the schools in the area they have an 8th grade trip there. The weekend, if you went during the summer, you're guaranteed to run into somebody that you knew. It'd be packed with people. So to see that, in a movie was like, what's it called? Santa Carla?
Right.
In Santa Cruz. The whole thing, even though I've even driven past their house that they use in that movie. But what a great movie Lost Boys was. Now, Matt, do you have, this is something that I love to do with my family. We have like the movies that we watch. There's Christmas movies that we watch. There's Halloween movies that we watch. Do you guys have, that kind of thing in your house? Do you guys have Halloween movies that you guys sit down and watch together?
Not really. I know it's funny. I think it's kind of like, when you're a chef and you don't want to cook. So I rarely sit down and watch movies with the kids, to be honest. Mainly because I have such a broad range of kids, and if you want the little ones to sit down, like if you want a family movie, I've got to put something on that's very young so my wife can have a break and sit and watch it with us. But I'll tell you what I watched again. I have watched all the Harry Potters with them. I'm like, look, that's where Daddy comes from. So I've gone through all the Harry Potters. But the one movie that I watch with them without fail at some point is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh, and I was doing that yesterday.
Perfect
movie. Great.
Perfect.
Talked about
Matthew and I like crunchy peanut butter, and we like we dislike.
Don't say it.
Doom is the worst of the OG3. We agree on that.
That's bullshit.
Listen. Once you work with Sly Jericho, you'll see things different. Okay.
Okay. Well, I can't wait till my eyes are open. Until then, Temple of Doom is the best Indiana Jones movie. Temple.
When you get rid of the other two,
Last Crusade.
Yes.
Yeah. Screw all that Crystal Skull horse shit and the whatever dumb one that was where that girl was running around telling him what's what. But Temple, Last Crusade, and then Raiders. That's my one.
Heather wants to know if you work with a gentleman named Ben Robson.
No
idea who that is.
Ben Robson.
This is Ben Robson here. Don't know. He's 40 years old.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Heather.
Heather, geez.
She just wanted you to pull up this picture of this barrel chest.
Yeah, don't you have Google yourself, Heather?
Yeah. Don't get us into your dirty work.
Right. Yeah. Think about what you think about. He's asking you, have you ever watched It's a Wonderful Life?
Man.
Which I consider the greatest movie of all time.
It probably is the greatest movie of all time. And yes.
What is it you want, Mary? What is it you want?
Yeah, throw a rope around the moon and pull it down and give it to you. Yeah, that was
great.
Great movie. Well, every year, that's an every year Christmas movie. Every year, It's a Wonderful Life Christmas story.
It is weird.
Home Alone.
It is weird how when the whole city comes and they give him all the money to save him from going to jail, and they're all singing Auld Lang Syne, and everybody's there, and he's holding the baby and the wife. It is weird how like dust starts to go around the room into everybody's eyes.
Yeah.
Well, my wife, she's always cutting onions. On that part, she gets up,
Yeah,
goes in the kitchen,
yeah.
she cuts
The
onions.
onions.
It
As long as you didn't
permeates
cut the
house.
cheese. You
Oh,
cut the onions and cut the cheese.
No, because I almost served her paper. She'll never do that. But yeah, man, that movie, when he runs upstairs and he hits the little knob that keeps coming off and he puts it back on, he like kisses it because he's so glad to be back. And yeah, when everybody's bringing in the money, he just didn't realize how many people's lives he touched. He was just like, wow, I didn't know that people, even the old black lady, she's like, oh, I've been saving these and stuff because you helped me with this. And his brother came back.
Line. I was saving this up so I could get a husband so I could get divorced or something like that. Remember?
Yeah.
He has a great line.
Dude, his brother came back because he ended up saving him. You know, he didn't die when he fell through the ice.
Right.
Man, that movie.
That's how Hollywood should still be. The uplifting, beautiful stories that make you think life is hard and there's challenges, but damn it, if we stick together, we are honest and we fight and we love, we can do it. What a great.
But again, a veteran as well. He was a veteran, and apparently, like he really needed that movie when he came back, because I think he did like 50 odd bombing missions over Germany, and I mean, it really is a masterpiece. And you know, I only watched it for the first time like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was your PB&J movie moment.
Yeah.
Heavy rotation for me growing up. I've seen this.
Oh,
movie
dude.
I was 8
My
years
mom
old.
had a poster. She had a framed poster in, I think, the living room or something. It's a Wonderful Life with James Stewart and Donna. Who played?
Donna Reed.
Donna Reed. Yeah, man.
Amazing.
I mean, great movie. But that's, you know, Christmas Story, It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone. I'm the only one who watches Die Hard because nobody else thinks it's a fucking Christmas movie in my house.
It's a total Christmas movie.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon, the first one. But yeah, man, those are just must watch. And was it the same in the UK? Those movies, you know, as big as they are here for Christmas movies, was it the same there?
It's a Wonderful Life, not so much. But the others, yeah. I mean, Die Hard was a giant movie. Like England.
What about Christmas Story?
No, not really.
What?
There's a British a British Christmas movie that people love that I
Christmas
hate with a passion is Love Actually.
Yeah, I hate that
Christmas
film.
movie?
Okay, good.
I hate that film.
I've never seen that before.
It's I can't stand it. Oh.
I thought you were going to say.
I'll tell you two movies that they played a lot in the UK, and it was kind of a staple every year. Is, believe it or not, Grease. Like Grease was something. Yeah, they play that like, I don't know if it's like on the spring break or whatever every year. And I remember like it used to be a thing that everyone would go and watch Grease. And what was the other one now? I was thinking of.
She loves that movie.
Yeah, and you watch back and it's kind of scandalous. Actually.
Yeah. Let me tell you this one, Matt. So last year, my daughter's 11, and they're watching Grease, and I walk in the room, and it's the scene where is he having a dream or something where he's like something about the engine or something, and
yeah,
I was like, what the fuck is this?
Grease Lightning.
No. Yeah. I was like, no, she'll never watch this shit again.
I don't know Grease. Like, what happened?
It's just it has a lot of innuendo. And,
and it's about, they talk about abortion as well. So, I mean, it's
I was
all in there.
Whoa. It was one of those movies that I thought was kind of innocent, just a musical. It's just a musical, right? West Side Story, Grease. Man, hell no. Grease is not for the youngins. But no. I'm surprised that A Christmas Story wasn't a British TV staple, because in America, man, you turn on TBS the day after Thanksgiving, and that movie's in heavy rotation.
So I've never seen it.
Woo. Matt, you can't keep dropping these bombs on us. You can't keep doing this. You've never seen A Christmas Story?
No.
It is, if It's a Wonderful Life is the greatest Christmas movie, or you guys say the greatest movie ever, but let's say in the context of Christmas, in the context of the passage of time. If we're talking Christmas movies, A Christmas Story is 1A to It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, really?
Great story, family, redemption, revenge.
You've been in the States for a long time, Matthew. You may have noticed the channel TBS. on Christmas, they play that movie for 24 hours back.
24 hours.
Is that right?
Oh,
they've
yeah.
done
Really?
They've done that for like 20 years, TBS. Yeah, they play
Oh,
it
man.
24 hours back to back.
Really?
And
I
we
had
just,
I had a video
We'll-
set of it, and I wore that out. That movie's so good. So
we'll watch it. We'll watch we'll watch it one time, and then after that, it's just kind of background
right.
noise for the rest of the day. But A Christmas Story, I mean, if you can get, all your kids to sit down and get everybody to kind of agree to watch it, it is absolutely amazing.
It's completely wholesome. It's so funny, and it's just you'll love it.
It takes place in what, the 40s?
Like the 30s or the 40s in like Cleveland, Ohio. It's an all-American thing about Christmas, and a little boy's quest to get Red Ryder double action BB gun for Christmas. And everyone tells him, "You'll shoot your eye out."
Everybody tells his teacher, his parents, the Santa Claus at the mall. Everybody, every time he says, "What do you want for Christmas?" "I want the Red Ryder double action BB gun." "Hey, you'll shoot your eye out, kid." And he just keeps getting shut down at every turn, man. That movie is.
I don't hear anymore because I want to watch it.
All right. You'll love it.
It's so great.
CL Fallon, and guys, we're going to get out of here soon because we've been going more than 3 hours, and it's well past midnight, and the heart of picks is where
it
Matthew
is.
And Matthew needs to have a 10th kid, so we need to get him to bed. So,
right, get it.
C. Fallon, thank you, $20, very generous friend. Raiders is the best of the Indiana Jones trilogy.
It's true.
That's right. Crunchy peanut butter. That's also right. Or as they say in, I think, England, too right. Or is that Australia? I don't know.
No, too right. Too
What does
right.
that mean?
I don't think I've seen any other movie more times than Christmas Story. Well, this is one of our people. This is a great guy.
Oh man, that movie's so good. What do you say? On right or right?
Too right.
Too right. What does that mean?
Too right. Like absolutely.
Oh.
It's right, but it's too right. It's even more
it's
than
just
right.
It's too right. That's what
It's not even just one right. It's two right.
Ooh. Well, whenever you send in a super chat, you get the booty. Here comes the booty.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty.
That's right. The greatest
Belgian
Buns. Van Damme.
I bet Van Damme got some stories to tell. Oh my goodness.
I used to live right next to him. He used to live on Ocean and Nielsen, Gabe, in Santa Monica.
Oh,
Lived
really?
in the same complex as him.
Oh,
I never
wow.
saw him, but I was right there.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Jean-Claude.
Happy Wednesday from Emily Kruger. No relation to Freddy Krueger, the mass murderer.
Happy Hump Day. Yeah, who's burned alive by the parents of the town he lived in. It's crazy.
Yeah, no relation, right, Emily?
Right. My daughter watched that the other day. The first Nightmare on Elm Street.
I've never seen that.
She handled it well. It's one of those. I mean, if you're into horror movies, it's like the history you have to study before you get to the modern stuff. It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
And Johnny Depp's in it.
He was, yeah,
yep.
Sure was. He didn't. He had a pretty bad ending in that movie, but yeah,
you did sucked into the bed, right? It was the other one that sucked into the bed.
Yeah, and then it blew all the blood up on.
Dude,
the
that's a gnarly scene.
That shit stands up. That scene stands the test of time. It is crazy. Yeah, and then the little kids, that song they sing, we used to sing that on the playground. That was scary as shit.
Until Freddy's coming for you.
Oh, dude, Bloody Mary, Bloody. Did you guys have that in the UK? Saying Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror?
No, I found out about that over here.
They probably have some. British stuff is always whimsical. Oh, it's the chippy monster.
Yeah, you get like Mary Poppins would come out and like.
If you say scuttlebutt 4 times on the soccer pitch, she appears.
Now, Mary Poppins, by the way, that was a staple. They used to play Mary Poppins.
That's a good one, man. I don't know why they couldn't get a British guy to play the chimney sweep, but whatever.
I know, good grief. It's so embarrassing.
That's true. That was cultural appropriation.
It's totally racist.
Jeez.
Go blimey, governor. Come on then, chimp.
Hello,
Chimney.
Chim Chiru. What does that mean? Is that like a racist term for some like Indians or something?
I've never heard of it before. I think it's like sounds like a chimney.
I think
Chimney.
we should start make that a racist term.
The time has flown by. We got to let our guests go, and it's late.
Oh,
it's 10 o'clock here. Matthew, you're welcome anytime. Please come in. Guys, subscribe to Matthew D. Marsden on YouTube. Do it now. Don't wait.
Matthew C.
Do it.
Like that guy. Do it.
Do
Come
it
on,
now.
do it. I'm here. Give me.
Wait. We can do better. Hold on. We'll get you out of here in in just a few seconds, Matthew. But first, we're going to have Arnold Schwarzenegger want to come in and tell everyone why they need to subscribe to your channel. Arnold, you have the floor.
Listen to me. Come here. Come on. You got to subscribe to the channel, Matthew D. Marsden, not Matthew C. Marsden. I don't like that guy. He was on the set of my movie. And I had to hear him because he was an asshole. But Matthew D is not an asshole. He's a good guy. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Give him a follow on the what is it there? The Twitter, the X there. Yeah.
Mr. Schwarzenegger, but what if I don't know how to subscribe to his channel? What would I do to do that?
Come on, figure it out. It's Matthew Marsden here. Do it.
Should I do it now?
Do it now. Do it like there's a bomb in there.
A bomb.
Thank you, Mr. Schwarzenegger.
I gotta tell you guys, I think I told you last time, right, when I met him at the premiere.
No,
of Rambo.
Please do.
Oh, so I'm standing there and I'm like, this was just like an out of body experience because, you know, I was standing there with Sly. You can see the picture actually, Gabe. If you can pull it up, there's me, Sly, Arnie. We're all in a line. Rambo premiere.
Okay.
And he comes up and he goes, congratulations on your movie. And I was like, that's Sly. That's Arnie and Sly, you know.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Can you find it, Gabe?
That's reminiscent of the opening of Planet Hollywood, where it was Arnold, Sly, and Bruce Willis. I was like, man, that's a hell of a picture right there.
And I've worked with two of the three of those.
Are you taller? Are you taller than him?
I am taller than him, yeah. There you go.
There you go. And there's that British SAS guy right next to Marsden.
Yeah, Graham.
We don't like him. We don't like him.
I mean, he's a dick. He was so good at that role. Like, you know, when actors are so good at being bad.
And you know what?
You hate him in real life.
Dude, he's the sweetest person in real life. Like, he's absolutely a great person. He's got McTavish whiskey now. And when he was in, he called me up. He was like, I'm coming to Dallas. I'm like, we are absolutely going out. And so I went and met him. And I've actually got a picture of me with my, he was, I guess, he was just turned 1, my son and his daughter. And they're both now grown. So there's the picture of me and him holding the babies, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
But he's a lovely guy. Lovely, lovely guy.
Right. The one actor that I love to hate that I think is one of the best villains is Gene Hackman. When he's a bad guy in movies, I just want to get him.
He's a dick, dude. Yeah,
he's such an asshole. He's so good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Charlie's that Jason Isaacs is the same. He's like, hello. He's very, so I can't tell you what my email is, but he Jason picked my email when we were doing Black Hawk Down. And so here's a little bit of trivia.
420 who farted at gmail.com. He made it when he was in college.
No, it was like 16 baguettes or something like that. But so if you watch Black Hawk Down, the first scene with me in, I have a proper high and tight, which was the old Ranger haircut, which you could identify the Rangers by the high and tight. And then we got so frustrated by the hair department because you have the hair and makeup, and there were these very Italianos. They come on, they do your hair, and we're like, that's not the way it's done. It's high and tight, blah blah blah. And so, actually, looking back, it's a wonder I didn't get into really deep trouble for this. If you watch the rest of the film after the first scene, I have a shaved head, and Jason Isaacs shaved my head in my hotel room bathroom. Just because you could, as a range, you could either have a high and tight or a completely shaved head. So you're not allowed to yawn, dude. It's way later here.
Oh no, I had an early rise. You know how it is. You're a chauffeur. Part of your duties as a dad is a chauffeur. So I took my daughter to school at 7 o'clock this morning.
What does Matthew know about having kids?
Let me tell you. Let me tell you about being a parent to multiple kids, Matt. You got a minute?
Matthew with his baseball team of children.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great though, man. I wish we started earlier and had more kids. I wish I had a bigger family. Kids.
We'll let you go, Matthew, because I've been saying that for 10 minutes. We'll let you go.
All right, guys. Thank you. I'll duck out. You guys can carry on. So
okay, we're gonna go to guys. Subscribe to Matthew's channel and thank him for being here.
No beans and toast. No beans and toast.
All right, guys. Bye bye.
Have a good night.
Peace.
All right, we'll close out the show here. Finish up that thought on kids. You know, I've heard some older people ask, and you know, I'm 20-something years past my kids being little, and those are the best years of your life when they're like 2 to 7. They're just the cutest, most loving, innocent, playful things.
Mhm.
And having big baby live with me, you know, my granddaughter, who's going to be 2 in a month and a half, she's just like the best person in the world. It's like I know to cherish all of this stuff because, man, it's what it's all about. So Matthew's such a great guest. So amazing that he came in. He's
Yeah, man,
always
that was
smart
cool.
and funny, entertaining. You're great asking him questions. I hope Heather can cool the hell off. You know, she,
Yeah, go take a ice bath. Go take a
Yeah.
cold shower, Heather.
yeah. So,
Jeez Louise,
but
bro.
yeah. So guys, we did not deliver at all on Lost Boys.
Not even
Sorry.
close. We got the picture up.
And
We
I
got that.
apologize. I apologize for nothing. 'Cause Matthew Marsden is a great guest. You know, he's a great guest. He called me this
Oh, man.
afternoon. He wanted some technical help with something. He's like, I got to come back on with you and Jericho. This is my Matthew Marsden.
Tuesday. Even though
Can I
it's
come
Wednesday,
in on a
Tuesday.
Tuesday? I said, I know we do the show on Wednesday. And so we'll do Double Impact The Lost Boys. Next
Yeah,
week.
we'll get to it. I promise.
We'll do it. next week.
Like we were saying earlier, man, great movie. One of the
Yeah.
the
Loved it.
greatest.
Loved it. Never seen it until last night. Loved it. Gonna have to put it in the rotation. Great movie.
Yep.
And for me, with my puritanical stuff in movies, I can watch this. There's not a bunch of filth. The bad guys are bad and evil is
Yeah.
punished. So I'm cool with the evil, you know.
Yeah, and you see how she moved back with her dad, you know, because her sons
Right.
needed a
Father
positive male
Right.
role model.
What up, Tons?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Nah.
But yeah, great movie. And like I watched it with my kids. I mean, yeah, the vampire parts are kind of scary, but there's nothing trashy. There's no nudity,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just that classic 80s movie, you know, with kids before social media and phones and shit. Kids are just out riding bikes and scraping their knee, you know.
And now
Great
I
movie.
know where Sexy Saxophone Man came from. I used to see images of
Dude,
him on the internet.
he was beating ladies off with a stick after that. Come
Right.
on. That dude's all buff and shit playing a
Yeah. That's hilarious. All right, guys, hit all the links in the
Oh,
description.
man.
Guys, hit the like right now. Hit the share. You love this. Matthew's an amazing guest. Share it with other people. Don't be stingy. Share this episode.
Yeah.
Share it out on social media right now, please. Finger,
fucker.
click share. Follow Jericho everywhere on social media. Make sure you're subscribed to his channels, and we will talk to you next Wednesday for Lost Boys. I have a video premiering at 8 a.m. tomorrow, how I would fix DC Comics. Love you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.